Hello and welcome to Tales from the Dark Side with so we don't have Jedi. This is going to be a show, boys. Thank you for everybody showing up in the chat first off. Appreciate it. No, it's a holiday. Happy 4th, everybody. You only see me and Dom because we've got a couple people are sick. A couple people are running, one person's running late and somebody else is faking it and they're at their in-laws. So, it's going to be an interesting show today. It's going to be a little bit of an interesting show today. We still got a little bit of a show. I just got off the boat like 40 minutes ago, and my thumbnail's trash. So feel free to make fun of the thumbnail that we put out there, because I know it's not good, but it's what I could do. JJ should be joining us shortly, hopefully within the next 20 minutes or so. Dom's with us. We have a great toy report. We're actually going to talk a little bit, and you guys can tell us in the chat too what you want us to talk about a little bit, but I think we're going to talk about some of the markets. I think we're going to talk about the toy market too. Maybe we'll talk a little bit more comics. I don't know if you guys watched Attack the other day, but you know, people ask the right questions. If you've been watching the back issues with Eric Hurd, you know this. If you ask me the right questions, you'll usually open up and I'll give you some answers. And I think that's kind of a point to what we're getting. But we will do our normal stuff. We're going to start off with our news. Now, Pete did throw together the news. I have no clue what's in there, so don't blame me what's going on there. We're going to do a comic book review as usual. And then after that, we'll get into toys. And then, you know, Dom wants to address some of the stuff that's going on there. I think there's a Hasbro thing that, like, I mean, damn, they're at it again. But where's the start? Thank you, Eric. Thank you, Eric. I'm gonna start the little show thingamabobber that we do. Except for this is for TAC. This is really going well. Man, it's been a long time since I had to do this. Let me get the intro, and we'll be right back. All right, let's say hi to everybody.
What's up, everyone?
Ruben, sorry you were worried. Don't worry. There was a very small chance I was canceling the show today. Well, it was 50-50. It was touch or go there. We got a couple guys that went down. Dom obviously is drinking tea today. He's a little under the weather too. And I know most of you that show up don't really like me rambling, so I wasn't going to do a show. But
they want the rants.
Yeah, right. Ronnie, Star Wars show with 1 or 10 is better than. Okay, well. We appreciate this, guys. Thank you very much. Hey, all Wayseeker, good to see you. Why I stopped drinking again? You did. Oh, Ed, my man. Yeah. Hey, that Pedialyte. Mix that Pedialyte. Have that Pedialyte. And they make that new one, the little like special one with the silver label on it. Do that. Drink half of it. Then drink the other half with a sugar-free Red Bull. You'll be good to go, my man. Yes, we are nerds. What is up? It's not the entire Dark Side crew. It's 2.5. There will be a half coming in sooner than later. Not everyone, by the amount of fireworks, not everyone is poor, but they're wasting a lot of money. I mean, over here, like if you think wherever you think, you know what though, this is actually sad because I was talking to somebody about this. I mean, I did something for the kids and everything yesterday, but usually the lake was like it's the worst place. It's terrible to live on lakes, especially when they like in Michigan. You used to have to go to Ohio, but as soon as they lifted that ban and they sold any type of firework you wanted, it got really bad on the lakes because everybody would be blowing up the lakes at all times. And it was like, oh my God, like it's Tuesday, like go get a job, stop lighting up the fireworks at 11 o'clock. Right. But now it seems like the cities, like my buddy is a firefighter for, Sean, we're going to talk about him a lot. Him and the family were over today. We were on the lake all day long. And he's like, how's the fireworks? I was like, man, I was one of like 2 people lighting off fireworks. And I was writing off like fountains and stuff for all the kids, nothing huge. He's like, oh man, it was going until 2-3 o'clock in the morning in the city. And I'm like, oh, thank God I don't live out there anymore. So,
what about last year? Was it last year or the year before with the fireworks at 3 a.m, 4 a.m? People were just going off. I was sleeping. You think it's like a war going off because people are just randomly shooting up fireworks.
See, it's not that bad. Like we have got. Maybe we should talk about this later because we're not even getting to Star Wars yet. But like we have on my like, it's only a 4.5 nautical miles. That's not. Dom, you've been to my lake before. Yeah, not huge. But we have 3 barges that come out to do fireworks 3 times a year. So I think it's kind of slowed down people with the fireworks situation, which is kind of nice.
Yeah.
I got the grape drink per Pedialyte. Oh, yeah. The grape one's pretty solid too. Oh my God, everybody's sick. Astro's sick. I hope you're getting better too. Yeah. Dom not doing good, but he said he went to work today, so he's going to do the show today. Our man Jedi, he's going to be all right. He can tell you about him. And then, JJ's got some stuff going on, but I think he's going to make it in today. And then Pete's the only sellout. So you see Pete, you tell him he's a sellout. He was actually going to put on a pre-recorded show for us. He didn't do that. And then he went over to his in-laws. So, hey. Hey, Lewis, good to see you, my man. All right, let's get into it. They canceled the fireworks up at Lake Tahoe. Too windy and lasting. Yeah.
Yeah, you don't want that.
Yeah. I get that. I get that. Yeah, everybody send out to Astro, send it out to Dom, send it out
better
to
Astro.
JJ, send it out to everybody. We'll get them everybody back. Make sure Pedialyte. I mean, seriously, it's like I don't know who makes it. Probably Johnson and Johnson. So it looks like I'm a shill for them, but that stuff.
I have a good remedy. My tea, lemon, honey, white Hennessy, and tea. You have it, and it
or Verner's. See, if you guys had Verner's, you wouldn't have these problems. You know, I mean, you could have just done Verner's. All right, let's get into the news. Pete made the news, so we'll see what's in the news, and then we'll get to comic reviews and other stuff. All right, this week in news. Oh, we're on slide 13. We're supposed to be on slide number 1. Already screwing stuff up. Perfect. All right, slide 1. Slide 2 is Thor. Man, Thor: Love and Thunder director Tiki suggests his Star Wars movie hasn't been greenlit yet, which is like how many times? I mean, Dom, I know because you had his movie done already. You had the plot points. You had 2 actresses cast already, or actors cast already. But this is kind of more how it is, and I think, yeah, okay. I mean, I hope he makes one. I hope Love and Thunder's good. I actually just go ahead.
I don't know. Look, this is my thing. What scares me when it comes to the movie side. They're having so many problems with the movies and making movies, period, when it comes to Star Wars, and they're concentrating more on the TV shows.
Right.
You know, they hype us up with all this and have Taika doing this and made us happy that we're going to be doing this. Get it? Hey, what's up, JJ? You know, and boom, all of a sudden they hit us with this.
Well, and they didn't hit. No, time out. But Dom, that's what I think we've always been saying. And like, I know a lot of people hit me up and think like I'm, being negative or whatever, but like, let's not put the cart in front of the horse. Obviously the guy out of the guy's mouth, we've heard the rumor sites that you read say like this thing's got people casting and stuff like that. But the truth is the guy's telling you, look at me and my mustache. I haven't even like nothing's greenlit. I just have an outline. Like they are at this point telling you, no, these rumor sites aren't right. Right. Hey, JJ's in the house. Yes, he is. Thank you for that, Darth. But I mean, I think that's it. I think that's where we have to set our expectations. So when we keep hearing like well, it could be this and it could be that. I think if we just use, some common, I don't know, like,
it scares me when he says that they don't even know if it's going to happen. And that's the problem. And we all know all the stuff that's been going on the past few years when it comes to Lucasfilm. You don't know what to believe because there's a lot of rumors that are shut out.
Well, I'm going to believe it out of the guy. I'm going to believe it out of the guy.
No, I'm going to believe him. That's the whole thing. I'm going to believe this. But that's the thing.
But some things, Dom, I think we've tried to tell this before and we always get poo-pooed on it, is like, you have to be realistic. Like if they say this guy is, I think we have another article in here, which I'm going to kill in a minute, but like, if you believe like, oh, well, Tiki, he's tied to something. What does that mean? JJ says all the time, but what does that mean? Like, JJ, right? Like, what does it mean? We don't know what it means. Like that means that, and apparently he's telling us it's not greenlit, but there was like tons of times where, they're reshooting this. That's not how it works. So why would they do that? I mean, if we just do that, but whatever. So hopefully he gets something. Hopefully Thunder War. But I would really like to see new people doing things. I do not like, if you go back and watch it when everybody's like, we believe in John and Dave. I've always said, I believe in Dave. I don't believe in John. And look, I think we're seeing the fruits of that labor at this point.
After seeing the Obi-Wan show, I'm kind of done with the legacy characters.
Yeah.
And I just want to see something new. It gets to a point where after they do what they have to do, and then all the feedback and all the negativity and all stuff, just give us something new where you can complain about something new. Oh, how is this possible? It's a new character. You can make whatever you want.
You would. I mean, I think that's 2 things that would be cool. If you do use them and tag and Bink or Vessel, right? Vessel would be dope for him too. I think those 2 things would work. Tag and Bink and Vessel. If not, then move along. Like find the perfect. There's people dying to be part of the Star Wars franchise. Like literally want to be part of the Star Wars. He'd
be a good fit for Lando too.
Oh yeah, he'd be a really good fit for Lando.
I think he'd handle that character really well.
Dave's not home, right? Yeah, Obi-Wan Kenobi. See, this is another weird one. Obi-Wan Kenobi, clone Commander Cody's scrap role as Luke Skywalker's guardian. So I don't know if you guys read what he was saying. The writer, one of the writers for the Obi-Wan TV series, it was some out of here shit, bro. Like, first off, we all know. Like, did you? I don't know if somebody told him this, but like, it wasn't a trilogy originally. They were one shots. They rolled out the one shot. Like, they rolled them out. They told us what they were. We were gonna get a one shot of Boba Fett. We were gonna get one shot of Obi-Wan. We were gonna get one shot. Who was the third person? Han. Was there a fourth person? JJ? Was it a Maul one shot or was it somebody else? I thought there was 4.
Well, with the
Did JJ freeze?
Oh, he did. Did you there?
But I know for sure they were one shots. So if that's what he's saying the trilogy was, but that's not what
the Obi-Wan was supposed to be a trilogy, a movie trilogy.
No. I know, no, but what I'm telling you is I think they think we forgot what happened, because when this was originally announced, it was a trilogy, but the trilogy was Boba Fett one shot, Obi one shot, and Han one shot, right, JJ?
Yep.
Yeah. And now this guy years later is like, yeah, well, back in the day it was gonna be no, dude, it wasn't. There was not gonna be an Obi-Wan. Like, they already told us what was gonna happen. And then they told us they scrapped both the Kenobi and they scrapped the Boba, and obviously we've got those back now. But that's just, it's crazy how people just. And I read the interview, and he did say that there was going to be a trilogy, but then they kind of inferred there was going to be an Obi trilogy. But then he was saying weird stuff about like how I'm actually happier about the Obi-Wan show now the way it turned out than reading what this idiot was talking about, what he thought was going to happen during the Cody was going to be on Tatooine in alleys, and anytime that Obi-Wan walked by, he was going to pull a knife on him and try to stab him. Like, what the shit is that? What are you talking about? Did you read this? Did anybody read what this guy was saying?
What I read was that they said that he was going to try to get Obi-Wan, like every time he's seen him, he was going to try to get him with a knife, but then eventually he was going to come to terms and stuff like that and become Luke's babysitter.
What? I mean, that's lunacy. No, the other thing was like, yeah, and then Darth Vader was going to kill Reva in the first one. Reva wasn't. There was no Reva, dude. Reva's like literally there. Hey, we just thought about this Inquisitor, so we came up with a new Inquisitor. That's what they said like a year ago. We've come up with a brand new character, never been heard before, never even thought of before. Now he's saying like, well, no, but 6 years ago, 8 years ago, Reva was gonna. How is it? You didn't even. You can't use a character to kill somebody if you haven't invented the character yet. Am I wrong? Like, how does that work? What kind of crazy shit is this guy talking? This is the same guy that said he's the same guy that said, I've watched no Clone Wars. I don't know anything about Star Wars, and I'm writing this thing. Like, this is the same lunatic. So, like, I mean,
this is the thing. Why do they have this? See, this is the problem with the fandom and the writers and all this stuff like that.
No.
All this.
I mean, first scripts are always wacky as all could be. Yeah. I mean, look at Lucas. Look at actual Star Wars first script.
Yeah.
I mean, look what the rough draft of Lucas versus what actually came out.
Yeah, I know, but what he was saying was more like like throw shit up against the wall, and then they like the brainstorming session before they tailor it down. Which, if that's what you want to call it, fine, call it that. Don't say you had a trilogy and this is how the movie was going to play out, because that's not what you were saying. Was cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, bro. I mean, it was some crazy shit. I mean, like Duels of Fate, like, makes the shit he was saying normal. Like, you're having Cody jump out and try to stab Obi-Wan on Tatooine for some reason. Like, explain that. I don't know. Whatever. All right. Next up, well, I'm glad we got this Obi version but don't let this guy write anything else, please. Stranger Things star could be Princess Leia. Oh my God, this is another horse shit. Okay, so Dom.
It's been a rumor forever.
Okay, but tell me, did you guys read this?
No, I read this also, not just Leia. They said a young Padme, that they're trying to do a Padme.
That is not what it is. Her agent, her dad said that they went up and had informal pitch, which means that they were at a party. They ran into Catherine Kennedy, an informal pitch, telling them that she had interest of being part of the Star Wars property, and then that she would probably get $15 million for each thing that she had, which was an assumption so they used two different people, right? So what they're saying is they were at a party. They walked up to KK and was like, "Hey, KK, yeah, my daughter, she's really hot right now. Like, she's right in it. She's great. Everything's going good. You know what? If you have anything that comes up in Star Wars, she'd really be interested." That's not saying she's going to play Princess Leia. Dude,
well, you know what's funny? They put her in a deep fake. The guy who got hired by Lucasfilm that does the deep fakes, they had her in the deep fake, and she looks like a young Princess Leia. The way they did it.
Yeah, it's been a casting rumor for
a
while now.
Yeah, but now they have a quote, and the quote is her dad saying pretty much like they kept using the word informal, which means
it's a Rosario Dawson situation, right? All over again.
Kind of, yeah.
Fans are like, oh man, she'd be perfect for this role, blah blah blah. Right. And then of course, her dad as her agent is gonna like approach and say, hey, like $15 million an episode or whatever.
Yeah, it's only so he's already leaking out how much he's willing. Which $15 million seems cheap. So like 15, like always already, she's great. When they say she's great between the 10-year-old and 30-year-old, like what? Dude, that's not even a demographic. That's 20 years of demographic, dude.
If they're going to do anything, come D23, they're supposed to be mentioning some new stuff and some old stuff. If something gets mentioned that's new that she's going to be in, then it's going to be mentioned there. I don't think they're going to wait. We'll see,
dude. Listen, why would you waste her if you're going to do her on something else, especially for 15?
Yeah.
Oh, dang. Yeah. I mean, like, listen, I hear what you're saying, but when you, Dom, this is what we're saying about the first one. Like, when you hear it from the horse's mouth, it's just the dad, as JJ said, that's like, hey, listen, my daughter wants to be there. You're saying she's hot between 10, which means from 10-year-olds all the way to 40-year-olds. Yes. She's popular and she'll demand $15 million. You're literally leaking the rumor that you're like, and trying to get fans to like you to drum up, be like, yeah, she'd be great as Princess Leia, and then petition for the daughter to work there.
And then somebody overhears it and goes, oh shit. And they go,
they don't overhear it. They start doing, like he said, with Dawson, where like they just kept hammering it away. And then 6 years later, she gets cast. What's going on, Mojo? Thanks for showing up. Just got $1 raise. Dude, congratulations on your $1 raise left over. Dude, don't look at that. Every dollar one at a time, my man. One at a time. Okay. Star Wars Lucasfilm finally reveals location of Luke Skywalker's Jedi Temple in current canon.
This one Pete added. I didn't read the article.
The planet's named Osis, which I thought we kind of knew already, but I guess no. Isn't that right? It's Osis, right? That's where it is, or did I miss something? Is he not there? This is in that. Okay, so we'll try to get the books done by next week. But this is the novel, the one with Luke and Lando on the plane.
Shadow of the Sith. I just bought the book. I got it myself over here.
All right, cool. Let's knock those out because this is in there. So I don't want to kill it too much, but that says it. This is back to back. So Shadow of the Sith. Spoiler again.
Yep.
The Force goes at. Oh my God. Osis isn't. So it is Osis. Thank you. Isn't it Osus? It's not Osis, right? It's Osus. Oh, whatever. He probably's right. I'm probably right.
And the sequels isn't like the Disney sequels.
Yeah, no, yeah, the other movies.
No. Can we talk about this? I don't know if we should talk about this.
They said that Anakin's Force Ghost was supposed to be weird, look like metamorph.
No,
and they took it out.
Too late. Lucas already ruined it, so he had to put him in at the end of the Return of the Jedi. So,
so they're talking about between the Return of the Jedi.
Yep, too late. He already ruined it. Hayden Christensen apparently when you die, you Force Ghost revert to young you.
Oh no! So they put
unless you're Obi-Wan, and then you don't.
No. They put Anakin's in the book. Anakin's in Shadow and Sith as it's Anakin's Force Ghost, not Darth Vader's Force Ghost. Not it's Hayden Christensen, and it's not good, but whatever. Okay,
yeah, I know it's Hayden Christensen in the movie too.
I know.
Marco's favorite character in the book.
It's really some of the stuff they're doing in Shadow vs. Sith is already like.
Well, in that case, they're actually keeping true to what Lucas did, right?
They are. Yeah, they are. They are definitely doing like all the. Do you read the like after books, the after art books, and all the after books of the
films? The films,
yeah.
No, okay, but I always thought that was putting him as the Force Ghost was one of the stupidest things I've ever seen in my life.
Agreed. But getting on that, like this book, all the stuff that they have in those after stops is showing up in this book. So all the stuff they didn't use in the movies, but they have in the books and in the explanation points, Like there's a little I sent to Wayseeker. That's why I was kind of sending you like that wall is when they talk to all the Sith. So
interesting.
Putting that in there. It's interesting so far, I guess. Shadow of the Sith presents Skywalker is the most powerful. Oh, good Lord. Okay.
I'm gonna have to eventually.
Now, isn't that kind of self-explanatory on this one?
Mm-hmm.
Wouldn't he? I mean, he's like the only Jedi, or at least powerful Jedi. Like everybody else is kind of still fledgling Jedi powers, right?
I guess technically, yeah. I guess. I mean, I guess like if through Snook. Oh God, we're really going to talk about the sequels. I guess if through Snook, Palpatine used that wave thing and killed all the Jedi kids that were on, that were at Luke Skywalker's thing and made it look like it was Kylo Ren, then wouldn't technically Palpatine still be the strongest present on the person in the galaxy? I don't know.
Yeah, I guess technically maybe.
I don't know. Maybe.
But I mean, well, that's just like that's kind of like winning a battle, but not the war, though, right? I don't know if that makes you the most powerful. I don't know.
No, it's not good. They're literally they're trying everything they can to fix. I've never seen so much crap thrown up against the wall to try to fix those things.
Well, the one thing in the book I know that they put in there, the one mystery that everybody was saying is the stupidest thing in the Rise of Skywalker, the dagger. We all know that. So they actually.
Oh well, that's what the book was about. Yeah, we knew that was coming too. Well, they already kind of said that like I'm saying in those post-screen books, they kind of already told you what happened. So now they're just trying to. I don't know, man. You're trying to dig yourself out of a hole. Just let it go. Let it go. Nobody cares except for Darth Ragnarsson. Let it go. Let it go.
No, but to make the sequel trilogy some kind of irrelevant force out there, it's
doesn't make
it better, at the same time, isn't this kind of the time period? I mean, this is still a time period that people are asking for stories during. Yeah. Here, all the people like, oh, well, I want to see Jedi Academy. I want to see Jedi. Like, I mean, that's this time.
Do you though?
I don't know that I do. I'm just saying people in general.
No. You don't let Dom get away with saying people are saying. So I'm going to say, who's these people saying this?
People are saying. I mean,
there's chatter. There's chatter out there.
People cry apparently when they see Luke Skywalker on screen, so it's a thing,
right? No, I mean, like I do like the backstories. Don't get me wrong, but like I think they've had some issues with keeping the consistency, even because they had to fire some of the writers, some of the backstories had to change around, and like I get all that, but like you just hit home runs with the Higher Republic. Can we just like? Are we not learning? Do we not learn? Like,
well, they've always had multiple paths, right? I mean, they're still doing the. I mean, it's no different than I don't know. To me, it's not any different than what it used to be before Disney.
No,
when you had the EU. I mean, some of it was crap and some of it was awesome. So
I got it, but the sell to us when it came over was we won't have to go through that again. I mean, that was their pitch.
Yeah, who believed that though?
I guess, but somebody was like in the chat last week was like. Yeah, well, you want this or you're saying this. And I'm saying, no, I'm not saying that. I'm telling you, they told us. They were like, hey, listen, this is what we're doing. And we said, sure. And some of it they have. And you're right. Some of it they failed on. And, here's whatever. Too early for that. Okay, European. Who's going, guys?
I missed out.
Nobody?
Listen, the tickets went on sale too early. It's ridiculous how the tickets went on sale.
You're actually going to buy tickets?
I know. I was going to go. I want the VIP tickets because that's what me and my wife are putting into.
You got it. You have to have some type of luck to get VIP. Man.
Listen, all I know is that they went on sale too early. I don't know why. Why couldn't this be towards the end of the year? They got to do it now.
Wayseeker, why don't you get a microphone and then you can come on in our book review doing with us?
I didn't even try. I didn't even bother to look. I was like, dude, I ain't got money to go to Europe. What is it?
Oh, it's nice.
Well, like I said, we were going to go, and like I said, we
need a correspondent, and I need your account information so I can send you money so that you can pick stuff up for me. Like they're exclusive. So
it's not fair. Lewis is already there, so you don't have to go as far.
Well, he counts. Though. He's a good fan, friend of the show. He's part of the dark side. So, all right.
Unless I find tickets in the secondary market, I'm not going to be able to go.
VIP, Lewis, tell us if you got VIP. Did all tickets out? They'll re-roll.
The 4-day pass sold out. The Saturday sold out.
They rolled those out. Watch.
Yeah, they sold out quickly.
Just the off day, I think, was the only thing that was left after a while.
Yeah, but they roll it out later on. So, All right, here, JJ, what is this that you and Don or you were joking about? Here's what Disney $5,000 Star Wars cocktail looks like.
I think it's like.
Oh, nice.
Obviously, it comes in the ice cream maker thing.
You keep that at least?
I don't think you get to keep any of it. I wasn't real clear on the article I read. Wasn't super clear about it, but like apparently, like it's designed to be a little bit like the weird like frog scene from as far as like the liquid goes. You know, whatever the frog eggs or whatever were in.
Poppy Van Winkle.
Okay,
Yeah.
It makes sense, but if it's not, I don't get it.
But if we got that, that'd be awesome. If you was to take that home, that you buy it and you get to have that.
Well, it's a cruise ship, so I don't think you do. Because this is on the cruise ship. This is not like the hotel.
$5,000. They can keep that for it. It's ridiculous. But
$5,000 somebody's going to be taking.
You know, so people are going to be doing it. You got the rich.
Yeah, but how you sneak it off the cruise ship?
Exactly.
Yeah.
We got a later news piece about somebody trying to sneak something away.
I'm not going to say I've never snuck anything out of some place that was exclusive that had a logo.
It's going to be hard to sneak that out, though.
But you know what? There's
I don't know. I guess you got a big enough luggage or something, but my guess is they kind of keep tabs on it.
Look, there's got to be something that they have to give if you're going to buy these things.
It's got a whole dry ice like apparatus and everything in it, and I don't know.
Mojo, it's funny you mentioned that because we were talking about it, and I had a glass of like it was a 150-year-old poppy, and it's an expensive drink, and I understand why it's expensive. But I didn't foot that bill, and I wouldn't pay the $300.
Well, yeah, so this is like ordering the what's the expensive champagne? Dom Perignon.
Yeah.
This is like bottle service for Dom Perignon. Is pretty, but Star Wars version, right?
No,
I'd rather have Louis XIII. A shot of Louis XIII, $2.
Well, whatever. I don't know. I don't buy expensive.
Yeah, it's like that poppy. It's like Poppy Van Winkle. If you get
it's crazy though.
But it's kind of like bottle service. They bring it to you in the VIP area.
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. If it's one cocktail, that's a little light for $5,000.
It is.
No, I think it's like I don't think it's one cocktail. It's like this whole apparatus.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Thing, but I don't know. It may be one like drink a person. I don't know.
That's it, Dwayne.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. Well, none of us are going to do that because I don't think any of us have that type of money or are stupid like that. So. Oh, Ashley Eckstein.
Yeah. I added this one because Ashley Eckstein's awesome, and she has normally I like try to include those like that one good like Star Wars fan story, but this was a good one to pass up. So it does a lot of work. This one's Mindful Matters is like a mental health awareness thing under a Star Wars theme that she runs. So
she's good, man. Like if you don't have a chance to meet her,
great person, tons of charity work.
Never complain. Like they stole it from her. She should have been Ahsoka. Like everything about her is amazing. She does a great job. So
and she gets mobbed too at conventions and stuff. Always nice.
Always
super nice.
Always and puts kids first.
Always smiling. Everything.
But we'll talk to anybody about anything. She is awesome. Yep. Everybody, I've never heard anybody say a bad word about her, and she's really. I mean, I really think she's great. Also, if you go to it's her universe, it's her website, but always check the clearance stuff. I'm always buying shirts there for like $7-8 Star Wars shirts that are pretty dope. So, and they have Marvel stuff too, but I only buy her Star Wars stuff. So she's awesome. I mean, I don't pay full. Dude, the shit she has at like Celebration, like I'm not paying $200.
Yeah, it can be expensive,
bro. I'm sorry.
They do like special edition shirts and stuff for charity too, though.
It sells out. Yeah, it always sells out. So, Boba Fett actor reveals his involvement in future Star Wars game. What game is this?
Yeah, I don't know. So, to me, I don't know what game they were referring to. I didn't catch it, but just that he was going to be in the game, which doesn't shock me. I assume maybe it's Hunters.
Dude, probably Hunter.
The Switch game.
How does this clown get this much money, dude, for being nothing? Literally, I mean, he's like he's just raking it in at this point.
Well, like too, if it's like a voice thing in a game, I'd almost rather have D-pad breaker. Sorry to more Americans.
Do you think that he's going to be in the Jedi Survivor? He could be in Jedi Survivor as a young Boba Fett and play the voice of Boba Fett in the if there is Boba Fett in the game.
I don't know. Make his money though, bro. I mean, he's making it.
He is.
Yeah. Like I said, I'm not even sure what game they were referring to. I just assume it's Hunters because Hunters is about
somebody in chat.
Hunters.
Somebody in chat, yeah, that's probably it. Somebody in chat pull up his IMDb and tell me anything else he's ever been in that is overall.
Eric says it's a back to tank simulator.
that
was Assassin's Creed. It's the back to tank simulator.
All right, what else? Oh, here it is, Jay. I don't have the actual video, so I'm not gonna play it.
Oh,
I do have some of the quotes. From this guy's a douchebag.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, take the sticker off your hat too, you fucking loser. I think he might have been drunk though. Did he look drunk to you, or just?
Probably. He's probably.
You know what?
Either drunk or high or both.
So he's a Tulsa, Oklahoma guy. Walks up to this, like, just does the worst action ever. Like, looks at the thing, decides to steal it. But the police now have put out this. This is their official statement. It is entirely possible that he was upset with Order 66 and revenging the Jedi. However, in Oklahoma, it's still a crime. The Force will be strong with the chosen one who can bring this nerf herder before the Jedi Council, or in this case, criminal court. Imperial credit, aka cash rewards, are paid for information that leads to his arrest. First off, no offense to whatever, but like, I know you shouldn't be stealing some shit, right? But like, This guy look like a douchebag. Okay, he's a douchebag. He also looks like a drunk or high douchebag. Okay, drunk or high douchebag isn't a dime a dozen. It's not like he's stealing the Mona Lisa here. He's stealing like a $10 like toy that you didn't left outside, right?
I don't think it's a $10 toy.
Well, probably more than $10, but yeah, still.
Like
when they were selling those at Target, no bullshit. When they were sending those things at Toys R Us, they had that. I actually still have the Vader in the box. I still got the Vader. It was the same size because you could have bought that. It was Vader, and then was it Kylo Ren? It was three figures that you buy.
I don't think that's that. I think that's something different. I think that's more expensive a piece.
Okay, if it's a more expensive piece, what is your dumb ass doing leaving it out on the front porch?
Well, I give you one thing, like
that's not expensive. No, because of how easy this.
At the very least, like move it around into like a funny position or something. But to steal it is obviously an asshole move.
What do you pick up, put it in his shoulder, and ran off with it?
Why? No, it's a cheaper one because of two things. One, I saw this douchebag. He missed leg day and arm day, so there's no way at the it's the more expensive one. It's the plastic one. It doesn't even have the voice moderator on it because you can see when he picks it up, it doesn't. So, I mean, maybe it's not $10. And now with Star Wars, how people are paying for crap, it's probably like $60 or $70. But like, still, like,
was it all shocking that the police took the role of the Empire though? Like, that they didn't. Yeah. Like, I don't know if you want to do that, but okay.
Yeah, also not a good look, maybe. What was that? Once we were warriors. Oh, really? Once we're warriors. Okay.
Okay.
All right, fair. Well, VK got us. Yeah, it was. It was the plastic one too. So I don't know. Okay. All right. Wasn't he Aquaman's dad? I don't know.
Maybe he really hated the sequels. He's just mad.
All right. We're going to go through comics real quickly, and then there's a lot of them today, so we'll get through them. Darth Vader, a bunch of different covers. We got the fucking Pride cover was... I don't know why the one character they made look like that, because you didn't do it any justice, but whatever.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
That was a weird cover just from like the faces and like the different poses. And
yeah, even like how they made... oh, man, I'm not going to say her name because Jedi's not here, but who's the main one? Sabé. Sabé looks like she's got to take a dump. Like, look at this.
Also, I realize it's probably like years in between, but like they made obviously they're supposed to be doubles, right? So they're supposed to look pretty well alike.
Yeah.
Like to me, like Padme and Sabé look too different.
Yeah. Well, remember these are the ones where the other two, the one on the way left and the one in the middle, that's not Sabé. Those two are the ones that came afterwards that don't have
the other ones. Yeah.
Right. But I'm saying the one in the forefront and the one in the back, or is that Padme, or is that supposed to be Sabé when she's younger?
Sabé twice. That's supposed to be Sabé twice.
Okay. Never mind then.
Oh, it's Sabé. Yeah, because Because if you look at the fucked up nose, it's in the two eyes of the. Anyways, Vader and Sabé are tagging back up. They're actually going to go after a governor. The governor's like, we've got this powerful weapon. Now, I actually thought it was really cool. The action, like as bad as the cover was, the action poses inside were pretty cool. And the governor's like, shit, they're throwing out like the Emperor's enforcer. We'll screw him. We're going to try to take care of him. This really looked Gandalf-y when he was taking the shots from the power weapon and just flipped it back around. They have a couple of these like assassin type dudes, but it's actually the governor was dressing up like him, which is weird. Try to fight him back. Of course, you're not going to take it out. Here comes Ochi. Obviously, no respect for Ochi because Ochi comes and was fighting what are the droids? The which ones were they? They were the little ones or whatever. You know what I'm talking about?
Mass droids?
No. The original Clone Wars droids.
Oh, the battle droids.
Oh, battle droids.
And he's like, and they're like, who the hell's Ochi? Nobody gives a shit about Ochi. And Vader goes, yeah, I really don't give a shit about you. Because he goes to Vader, he's like, yeah, you're welcome for me saving you. Vader said you let the governor get away. Like, knocks him out, unconscious almost. Get back, and then Sabay's like, hey, listen, it's not all your guys' fault. And I thought this was cool how they did this. Because they're like, it's the governor's fault, and they just lied to you. It's not your fault. They did a little mental thing, and her not your fault. They did a flashback to Leia and Alderaan getting blown up. Then they had all the way back to Anakin just doing all the murdering of Tuskens and children and separatists. And get a little bit of the crying and Padme saying, because it switches back and forth, but Vader's in there too, and like, hey, it's not your fault. It's going to be okay. He closes the door on her. It's kind of supposed to be like a mental block that they have there.
Very Godfather.
Huh?
The closing on the door on her thing to me is like very Godfather.
Yeah. On the end, it breaks through, and we'll see what happens, and maybe Vader will turn soft. I doubt it, though. Aphra. Now, there was a little bit more to that, but I didn't add it because the book, we got a lot of books to cover.
On the Iron Heart. I mean, Aphra.
Yeah. No. Remember, people were telling us she's now Sith Aphra. Make sure you run out there.
First, actually pretty good, this book. This one was pretty good. I read this one.
It was good.
It was pretty good.
Oh, well, no wonder, because you bought the boba. Yeah, you bought the boba.
Well, I got like 5 copies of that boba.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Well, there you go. So they kind of go through it real quickly. She is Iron Spider, or what'd you call her, JJ?
Ironheart.
Yeah, Ironheart. Sure, same thing. Starts talking. Then you see Aphra talking in the head. It turns out very quickly that they do say that modular that attached itself is actually a Sentinel type thing. So it is just a computer that's trying to mess with her. Sasha, yeah. Sana, thank you. I've been drinking too much today. On too much beer. Sana is going like, hey, listen, I'm going to shoot you. The little computer thing that's possessing Aphra goes, no, you're not, because you wouldn't shoot your friend. She's like, I've been waiting for this forever. Shoots her anyways. And then she goes, yeah, you humans are, the robot thing goes, humans are stupid. Goes over, finds creepy Null and Pona or whatever her name is. Frees her. They get a little bit more fight. And all of a sudden, Sand hits her with the whip. The whip shocks her out. It looks like everybody's going to go, but they use the horns of death. And now the computer is It was, JG, what'd you think about this? So, like, explain this to me. I think this is how I understand it. The thing that took over Aphra is like the mainframe for the what's the name of the group? The Ascendants, right? So it's like they downloaded kind of like almost a conscience, or they built like a conscience, like a mainframe.
Yeah, it's like a supernatural computer, I guess.
Yeah, and then that supernatural computer had also all these power parts like Voltron. Like it had the it had all like the horns, and it had the bracelets and all these other things that somehow, if it puts it all together, it's going to transform into this super powerful being. I don't understand how it has anything to do with the Sith at this point, but like,
I don't think it was. So their goal was to like basically
mimic
the Sith, or overpower the Sith. I don't know which one considered to be, but yeah,
it seems like a bunch of like, or maybe infinity gems put together with a
It's like an infinity vest instead of a gauntlet, maybe.
Yeah, but it's so she's gonna have the horde. She's gonna have a bracelet. She's gonna have a leglet. Chain and ball, maybe.
It's like Zelda.
Yeah.
Bracelet.
Yeah, right. So either way, the thing's still possessing Aphra. Santa tries to save him, and then Basha, the Boosh, under that what's her name? Leia ends up getting a thing for him. Stops him. There's a little bit of a crossover. There's another story that has to do with Crimson Reign, but since it's already past that point, I didn't even add it because, like, it's stupid.
You get Magna back.
Huh?
You get Magna back at the end.
Yeah, so at the end, we get ex-girlfriends and Magna back. So
and
it's
dad and the dad.
Huh?
And her dad.
Oh yeah. She's the dad. Trill there. And they go to Tatooine. They get the. Who's the one on Tatooine? I know one.
What's funny? All the ex-girlfriends, which is funny.
Well, one of them's ex-girlfriend. I think that Tatooine is the dude that she dated that she didn't date. So I think we're getting the dad, the dude, the chick from school, and then we're getting Magna back too. Yeah. Oh, not only Magna, but we also got. So we're going back and forth between the nephew and what's her name. So it's good. I mean, it's still going good. They're adding the people back in, so they didn't waste anybody, which is kind of cool.
They did a heist like you son of a bitch, I'm in moment.
Yeah, that is true.
It's like Ocean's 11 or Suicide Squad, Dr. Afro version.
Rendezvous, yeah, whatever. Either way, that's cool. Are you excited about Magna? I don't know if I am, but whatever.
I liked her as a character originally, so I don't know.
She's pretty cool. You know,
I like when they bring those characters back and give them something to do.
Yeah, actually, I do. That's what I like best about it. Like, as much as because during that era of Afro when they were writing, it seemed like they're just going on quests to find artifacts that weren't fucking real. Remember that? It was like every 3 books, it didn't matter. Like, it disappeared or stuff fell off or whatever thing. So I'm kind of glad that they are bringing some of these back. I just hope that some of them die. All right, Star Wars. Pete,
what's going on?
I like your in-laws, Pete.
Made it.
Gee.
I couldn't resist. I was hustling and getting in here. I can make it.
We got this handled. Star Wars, Obi-Wan, nice covers. She apparently. Wait a minute, dude. Who's on Afro? Oh, because Afro.
It's the Pride cover. It's the Pride cover.
Yeah. Afro was going to be on Afro's Pride cover.
The one thing I liked about this Obi-Wan book was the one scene they showed. At least you know when this book takes place. They showed the scene with Maul and fighting, which takes place after that Rebels episode. So this is pretty cool that the story takes place in that time where he's writing it. You know what I'm saying?
No.
Well, it starts there. It doesn't take place there.
No, it doesn't take place. I mean, it starts there.
The book is talking about he's talking about memory before he writes in the journal.
And memories, but it takes like closer to New Hope, I guess, because all these stories are done already. That's what I'm trying to say. That we know that this scene happened already, the fight between him and Maul. That's what I'm trying to say. The time period with him and Maul after he killed Maul.
I drank too much. What are you saying now? So
yeah, it's near the end of his life. Yeah, it's his memories more like
in the journal. Yeah. Okay, he's finishing up. Okay. Okay. I thought you meant the story inside the book, which
no. I'm just saying.
Qui-Gon Jinn looking like, I mean, what I don't even know what the art of Qui-Gon Jinn is a couple of times, but he changes a lot in this. So they put on these little headgear so they can see what's going on.
Going to a rave.
Yeah, but like look at the middle one, and then look at Qui-Gon right in the middle where he's got like deep frowing brows and stuff. He looks creepy.
Yeah, his beard changes too.
Yeah, he also does shoulder rub to Obi-Wan, like, youngling, youngling, you'll learn. It's like, dude, stop. All right, they put on the things. They see blood, but then they don't see blood. I was like, oh, is this going to be like some horror thing? It kind of is. So this, and then their lightsabers don't have as much power. Did we ever find out why the lightsabers don't have as much power, or that was just a thing for a minute?
They forgot to charge them.
Yeah, batteries were low.
Yeah, didn't have a USB outlet anywhere.
So the Wolf Man shows up, starts killing people.
Jack Russell.
Yeah. He can't see it. He thinks he misses. Go ahead, Dom.
No. I'm saying I like this. I like the way this story turned out. In a way, it wasn't one of the best stories, but it actually was a pretty good story. With the fight, the werewolf.
I do. Right. I agree. The one problem I have, and I'll have this sometimes too, is like, there's a reason why they're comics and not novels. Like, use the art to tell some of the story. You don't need 80,000. This ain't DC, dude.
Yeah, and the art is weird. It's not bad. Well, parts of it are bad.
I didn't mind some of it. The wolf flank is the species or whatever, and that's possessed, but it's the guy that used to be in there. Pretty much what happened was pirates went down. They got onto this mining plant. They were trying to steal the diamonds. They ended up shutting out the power core. They can't put it back on. With that being said, one of the characters started turning into, like, he's already a wolf type character, but really turned to like Wolfman. They figure this all out. Obi-Wan's like, hey, cool, let's turn on the lights. They turn on the lights. They start healing everybody. Obi can't see anymore. There's the wolf guy now in his suit. everything's better, and Obi-Wan writes in the journal.
But I think what happened is that the people that died were the criminals that were stealing the diamonds.
Yeah, most of them were dead.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Somewhere Kanan's like, you can't see for like a day. I mean, I did it for like 2 years.
All right, on to Han Solo and Chewbacca. Yeah, Han Solo and Chewbacca, they're still trying to figure out the urn and everything else. They got Greedo there. They got the maybe guy who might be Dad's. Han shows him the ship. The guy's all impressed. Once again, he knows very little about his son, which maybe that's true. Maybe it's not his son. I don't know.
Kurt Russell from Guardians of the Galaxy, too.
It is. They send Greedo away to get something and then leave him on the planet all by himself, which is kind of funny. There is a tie in here. This is kind of interesting. I was like looking at it and I'm like, wait a minute, are they? I liked how they did this tie-in. Oh, that's fireworks. So the architect, or what's her name? The one that turns into the ghost lady later.
The activist.
They actually they show you what happens to her, because before, if you remember her Solo story, somebody had ratted her out and said she had contraband, and that's when Kira saved her and took her away. Well, we found out who it was. It was Han Solo. Han Solo made up a story, ratted her out to these troopers so that they could go get something because she was being rude to him, and they messed up her place.
Ruined her whole career.
Jesus.
Solo's the one that ruined her whole career, and they do give the like Kira going away with it, which all of a sudden, wait, did you think that Solo knew this is Kira? He said somebody, but like, if you knew it was Kira and he was so obsessed with her, wouldn't he have gone down there and tried?
Yeah, he had to have not known, I wouldn't think.
Yeah.
All right. So, anyways, goes down there, sees it's all messed up. The dad finds the thing. Dad gets shot in the back. Han's like, "Hey, look, hold on, we can make a deal." And it turns out that it's Black K. So, are we getting rematch?
Yo, Black K looks like a superhero.
So, is this is pre-rematch? So, this will be a prequel to the match.
Prequel to the fight.
Black K. So. All right, there we go. He does look sweet there, though. Even like the scene, I didn't pull it out here, but when the hand grabs Han from the back, looks dope as shit.
That's pretty cool.
All right. Next week we've got, so we cleared all the books this week. Next week we got
Hondo.
I'm looking forward to this one. I want a Hondo story.
Yeah, I'm glad we're getting a
sucker for a Hondo story.
Yeah.
Then we got FOC boss story, and look at this last. Look at him come to play with the variant, dude. I like that boss variant. That boss variant.
Which one? The one on the right.
On the way right. Yeah. That's probably gonna be the ratio.
The first one.
Yeah, I like the negative space. I like the negative.
The middle one looks like a tag team wrestling pose.
I know, right?
Yeah, but that's the same one. That's the one they've done with all of them. The team up one. It's like what they do for each.
Yeah,
one.
There's no Mando this week. They pushed it back to next week.
Yeah, wait till you get that point. Hondo covers for 4 underwhelming.
Yeah. But this one, so that's always the team up one that they're doing there. But I like this last boss 125 is going to be dope. So get that one. All right. Oh wait, that was what I did for our. Hey, Pete, you're going to have to redo the thumbnail. As you can see, I use very remedial art here.
Marco's rudimentary art skills.
Dom's asking, he's like, "Hey, is there a link and can we get up there?" And there's no thumbnail. I'm like, well,
I think we're like the most hideous looking pop.
The last one in the order, so I just pulled that. I pulled the Afra being Sith Afra because I just thought that was. I mean, like, we talked about
that first cover. Why'd you pick that one?
The fourth one?
No, the first cover, the red.
Oh, because it's the worst cover out of all of them.
So why did you pick the worst?
The worst pop. I want people to on the side.
Hey, if you clicked on this thumbnail because you're like, holy crap.
Marco's like, we only got 3 people. This show's already done for. Let me just make the worst thumbnail I can make.
I was literally going like, let me just see if people would click on this to be like, what type of moron would put this type of thumbnail out there? And I was like, oh, I could just make it look worse. So
yeah,
I mean, you do have to remember.
Cheers to Marco. There you go.
You have to remember at one point, yeah, look, now you got a coffee cup. I see how it goes. It was me and sick Dom on this by ourselves. All right. So it was coming down to the witching hour with that. The armor thing that's on Alpha is like white, green Power Ranger armor. Kind of, I guess. It's
yeah, I mean, it reminds me of Green Ranger.
I don't know. I'm not a big Power Ranger person, so I don't know how that works. All I know is it's like the mind's eye or something. Like it's like a hive like that creates being. So,
well, listen, magic and technology. What other TV show used to have magic and technology? He-Man.
He-Man. Yeah. All right, so
fair enough.
What is that curse pop? Louis P.S. Good.
We'll let you know.
We'll get to it.
Because we're gonna go into Dom and we're gonna let you. Pete, I wish I knew you were
Apparently,
there.
it's supposed to be Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Right.
Yeah, I didn't know if I was going to be able to make it. That's why I didn't say anything.
You want me to throw you a list and you can pull them up real quickly and put them together? All right, go ahead.
Listen, I can honestly say one thing: the list of toys this week really stink. And we got the mission fleet, the Obi-Wan mission fleet, and it's for kids. Hey, I understand that, this and that, but nothing spectacular. I won't be buying it. I can tell you that.
You know what? I was talking to Dom pre this, like especially with the mission fleet stuff. Target right now, check your targets out. They're clearancing out like a ton of their mission fleet stuff. So like the Razor Crest.
And Tala got short shrift here with the loader droid makes the team, but Tala doesn't.
Oh man, that does suck.
The robot is getting all the attention.
Yeah.
All right, so we got a couple of Black Series figures that came out, and
why is this a fucking thing?
You know what?
I don't know. Another Jawa, though. You know, another Jawa.
Was it Tika? What was that?
Oh, is that the Obi-Wan Jawa?
Yeah.
Okay.
Jawa. Well, no, at least they gave it different goods. You know what I mean? Like, so I like that fact because it'll work.
At least they made an action figure from a Jawa scene that didn't involve weird sex jokes. So
exactly, they're fuzzier than you would expect.
Look, I can honestly say one thing: the figures that were hot that came out from the series was the Inquisitors. That was the best part of the Black Series figures that came out. But other than that, the rest were so. You can go to the next one.
This isn't that bad, dude.
Another Obi-Wan. This is the third Obi-Wan that they had for the Black Series.
This is why I tell you, when vintage people bitch about Black Series, go screw yourself because this is the third Obi-Wan in 2 weeks.
Third Obi-Wan in less than 3 weeks. So it's up for pre-order now. I haven't. I don't think I'm going to get the other two. Yes, it's soft goods.
It does look soft.
Yeah,
most people I know we're talking about the robe. Saying it's soft goods doesn't mean that it's not.
That is soft goods. That's the only good thing about it. But all right, you go to the next one.
I mean, it's not bad. It's just
I would buy it if it had whale meat.
And you can't have a Star Wars series without Funko Pops. So what does Funko do? Put 2 commons in a pack and make it a Target exclusive. They're commons that you get automatically, and they make it a Funko 2-pack.
That was another thing that I was thinking. Like I was going what is it? The one from Visions. They had the Visions Target exclusive. Those were all over. I think they were clearancing those out of Target too. Like
I'm gonna take a walk. I'm gonna go to Target one of these days and see what I can find.
Just go through the aisles too. Don't look on the website because if you go through the aisles, just a little tip for all those people when they're doing it. Sometimes like even stuff that they're gonna reprice up, they'll clearance out like a section of it. So like I bought remember He-Man came with what's his name Battle Cat. And that Battle Cat was like $30 or whatever with him
like 50% off, right?
I got it. No, I got it for $6.
Jeez, there you go.
And then like 2 months later, they priced it like back up, or at least it was cheaper. Just with
all those He-Man figures are now like you can get them for like $10, $12. That were like it's amazing.
Black Series. I was seeing, dude, the speeder bike that they did, the one from Mandalorian. That one right now is $11. What else were they clearancing? They're clearancing a bunch of stuff out there. So
what's the name on Amazon from Solo? What's the face?
Kira?
Not the one that was on the bike, the speeder bike, the gang, the bike gang.
Freeze Nest.
Yeah. They had it for like $20. $20. I was thinking, but then it went up again. But the fact is, it fluctuates. So if you really want some of these things.
I'm just telling you right now,
cheap, get them for cheap.
Yeah, if you could go Target, which means GameStop's gonna be clearancing them too really soon. So, shit.
We have 2 very lovely art series.
This is not
that's art.
Darth Vader in wrapping paper. Well, look, now compare that.
How much is this, Dom? Like, actually, how much is this?
About $22.
Oh shit! If it was $5,
I'm going to show you something now. So,
what are you going to do with it?
Series. This is one that just came out. This is one that just came out. This is the Hoth.
Hold on.
Yeah, it's a little glary, so we're gonna need.
At least that one glows in the dark or something. I'm sure, right? Or something.
No, it doesn't glow in the dark.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So it's in a nice shiny box. So it's a little. I'm sorry to glare. But anyway,
I get it though. Yeah,
I like the way that looked.
Okay,
But
cool.
the one now, I don't know.
This is hard.
It looks like roses
it's
all
horrible.
over their faces.
You know, but if you're collecting, Vader's monkey paw.
Honestly, when this thing goes on clearance, I'll buy it for my mom and give it to her for Christmas.
You know, if I find it for cheap, I'll buy it
for sure. Yeah, she'll love it.
Somehow it almost seems lazier than a normal pop as far as the art goes.
Now they just like the art series. It always lays with the art series. They just throw any type of pattern and say, buy it. Wait till you see the Obi-Wan now.
That's what the thumbnail was. Yeah,
the sands of Tatooine, and
it looks like he's wrapped in a funeral cloth.
I know. Yeah,
Polygon target. Joseph, what's going on?
I see it now. I didn't see the symbols before. I thought it was just weird camo.
Like, hey, this type of my mom would love this type of like gaudy bullshit, but this
it's a ghillie suit.
Yeah, that's what I thought. It's like he's just hiding in the desert.
Obi-Wan's in Call of Duty, and we didn't notice.
Oh my god! But you know what? I'm not gonna laugh at it. It may look horrible, but there are people that will definitely get it and like it. You know,
that doesn't mean I can't laugh at it.
I know. Listen, I collect them, and I'm laughing.
Like even the lightsaber.
Yeah, it's
like, come on,
you know,
like, really.
But we were talking about so we were talking a little bit about the toy market and how stuff's going on clearance and how it's overstocked, and everybody was like for a while going crazy and trying to resell and stuff. And we talked about the failure of the last Pulse. And then Dom said, "Hey, you want to bring this page up real quickly?" So I'm going to bring this page up.
So this is ending in 8 days. They were trying to get a target of 5,000 backers for this lovely Reaver lightsaber that nobody wants.
Yeah.
And the reason why I put this up there is that because Lucas, the Lucas brand in Hasbro, have no clue what the fans want.
They're doing really bad.
So the Yo Joe band from G.I. Joe launched the Hiss tank for the 6-inch figures, right? It was backed in 4 hours.
Really?
8,000 backers in 4 hours.
I looked at it. I was like, $300 for that?
I backed it.
Big, but
I backed it. Guess what? It's up to the third tier now. Almost 15,000 backers in less than 4 days.
$300.
Why?
How long has this one been up?
This has been up since the drop of the first episode of Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
All right.
It's been up for a while now.
So think about this. Why can't the Star Wars Hasbro people put out something that we want?
For $500. This is horseshit for $500.
It is $500 and nobody wants it. Look, nobody liked the Revis character. So
that's not true.
I don't think it's that. I don't think it's that. Because to me, like, actually, I would be cool to have an Inquisitor's lightsaber.
Hold on. All right, yeah, good. Okay.
But
can I do this, Peter? No.
I don't know.
Okay.
I think it would be cool to have an Inquisitor lightsaber for the most part.
It would be cool.
Probably just the trailer.
But at the same time, $500 is a bit steep, and also I haven't seen them marketed at all.
But
they did when it first came out. So they did when it first came out.
Yeah.
And people were like,
and I wonder too, did
I pull it off?
No, there's just a black screen for some reason.
Okay. Yeah. Can you see it now or no?
Yeah.
All right. Go ahead. Did he freeze? He froze.
You know.
Oh yeah.
But you're right. You're right. Like the Hasbro for some reason, and this is what the failure at Star Wars, and I think this is kind of what I've been saying for a little bit in different ways about it, is like the failure of Star Wars for some reason is like, yeah, people are probably like, oh, it's so cool. We got this new thing and we want this. Right. But do we really want it? Or do you, and obviously they failed in the last two things. You're not really hearing what the fans, like you're saying, oh, we want this. Oh, we want Book of Boba Fett. Oh, we want the Obi-Wan show. Oh, we want this. But they're not executing properly. I think that's the biggest beef. And I wish Joe was here. And also make sure you say your prayers or your good thoughts with Joe too, because he's getting over some stuff. But like, that's the execution part, right? They did terrible writing. You know, they haven't. The producing
that's
hasn't
the
been
problem.
Well.
See,
Same thing here. They keep. This is going to be the second. Dude, we're Star Wars, right? We are Star Wars.
On top of the heap.
Top of the food chain.
and we can't get too and like, no offense, but don't give us this horse shit. They're trying to feed us horse shit.
But you know what the sad thing is, Marco? The sad thing is that, you know, we all know the Reva character. You know, it got to the point where, you know, all that negativity came out, and then you drop this. Do you think that the negativity is going to make people buy this?
No, Dom, that fucking trolling and those bot shit, that's garbage. Those people don't buy this stuff anyways. People who buy this shit is you and me and everything else. Yeah. Dom, did you have a problem with the Reva character?
I didn't.
But are you going to buy this horse shit at $500? No. You have a problem with that? Same here. Pete, did you have a problem with the Reva character?
No.
Are you going to buy this horse shit at $500?
No, but I wouldn't have bought it anyway. Like, this isn't for me. Like, I'm not a lightsaber collector.
No, time out. If this was $200, just for the basics, for nothing added on, I would put the $200 towards it. I really would have. Yeah,
I got the dark saber. I bought the dark saber. That's the only saber I bought.
Yeah, I mean, I still got the Kylo saber over there. I got some other sabers around. So for $200, fine. But you're charging what is that? 2/3 more for this shit? Like, get the fuck out of here.
And then you're gonna put tears. Look, it's gonna fail.
This thing though, this is so cumbersome. It's so
big.
The
boxes, dude. I don't fucking pull any of that horse shit out.
No, even if you don't, even the box is gonna be big. Big box.
I wish I could show you up here. This shit's to the ceiling up here, man.
I know. That's what I'm saying. I'm already to the ceiling. I got no more room.
I know. My point being is, like, when you get something similar for $200 and for lifelong characters or legacy characters, and then you're giving us a new character, sure, I understand. But for $500, the prices of these things are getting out of control now when they're trying to sell them for $300.
Yeah, that's the other.
Look, why can't they put out something? Put out something for the Black Series. Put out an X-Wing. Put out a old school TIE fighter. Put out something that the fans want. Lightsabers, people like them, but people are bored of these. They want vehicles. They want other things that could fit their collections. Look, you got all these Black Series figures with nothing to put them in the have them.
Those are big goddamn vehicles. That's my problem with the his tank.
Like, no. You create a diorama
thing to fit a 6-inch figure in it.
19 inches. It's a 19-inch thing.
I've got a 19-inch thing too. But if you hit something on the head that people have been asking for is the diorama. If they did a diorama, Pete, not for you, not for me, but like even these guys, like who's your boy over there? Who's your boy that met the wrestler kid? The one from Canada that lives down the street now. That does all the toys and stuff. The young kid from AEW or whatever. The kid that not the goofy ball that does the Pee-wee dance.
Dan Housen?
Not Dan Housen. He lives on the east side. The other guy, the guy that lived in Canada and moved down.
Guy who lived in Canada and moved down.
He's tag teams with some other guy. He was a little chubby.
That other guy is the other guy, the one that wears the shorts.
Yeah, he does wear shorts, I think. Ethan Page. So Ethan Page.
Oh, Ethan Page. Okay. You're old. Okay. You met him.
Yeah, I met him. Yeah, he lives.
That's what I'm saying. Why are you asking me? You're the one who met him. You should remember his name.
That's not his real name. So, and I'm not trying to.
I know. But anyway.
Yeah. So, but what I'm saying is, like, those people, they will. They'll spend it on this. And that's what, when I ever talk to them, they're always about, man, it'd be great to have a diorama. Man, it'd be great to have a diorama. The problem is you got people at Star Wars patting themselves on the backs to do stuff. And it's like, yo, we like Reva. Okay. But give us a Reva figure and a diorama of when she's walking with the other, like, think about that. Think about that scene where they're walking in on the deck and you have like little mini TIE fighters behind and you get Reva. And that is going to cost you $399. Okay. Now you're extra at JJ, the Black Series people would lose their shit.
Hey, listen, how about look, Lewis says this perfectly. Give us a jetpack, a Boba Fett jetpack. That would be awesome. I'll take that.
No, but I'm saying a diorama makes sense though, because you could fit a lot of your collection already on it, and it becomes more of a display.
Then you get one
vehicle is going to be tough because then it's one vehicle for like one figure.
Then they give you a couple purge troopers, and then they give you another. They got 80,000 Vaders. Who gives a shit? They'll throw in a different Vader for you, right? You'll give Vader with reflective eyes or some shit. And that's it. And that's all your pieces. They'd be so fucking happy through the moon with it. But no, instead we get this horse shit right after they failed.
Listen, you remember the first TIE fighter that came out? They had the TIE fighter, the first order TIE fighter that came out. That was $100 and something. Give us a old school TIE fighder. Give us Vader's TIE fighter. That'd be people like that. They would definitely back that.
No, that's definitely a better idea. You're right. To go. You want to go more with the nostalgia with an expensive piece because those are the people who have money. The newer collectors are like, oh, I want Poe's ship. Like, Oh, we don't want
Well,
Poe's X-Wing.
I think the problem with this
Luke's
is
X-Wing.
too the price in your lightsaber collectors. I don't know that there's that many of them that would at least that would pay this. Because listen, you could go to Galaxy's Edge and buy like 3 lightsabers for this price.
Yeah, exactly.
That's true.
Well, I mean, GameStop right now, like they're not selling like all of them. If you're the first one to get in there when they go on discount, every one of their things like go on discount. And I just don't have enough room to be collecting them all. But like you can get them. They're always selling for like the Ventress ones were always selling for under $200, even though that's what their price point I think was $219 when it came out. The Revan one, they still had those selling for under the $200, $220 price point. I mean, it wasn't a lot, but like 165, 185, and like. If they're not selling at their full MSRP, like, what are you thinking on this?
And that's the state of collecting. People are, I think, a little fatigued with the collecting too. That's another thing.
But the guy that's in charge of here that they just gave the promotion to, we used to do it with Barles and James all the time. We should probably get back to Barles and James. But like, they're tone deaf. They are literally patting themselves on the back. That Rancor thing was a fucking embarrassment. They're patting themselves on the back for it. They keep patting themselves on the back for all this horse shit. And it's like, dude, nobody wants it. Nobody wants this crap. Like, just
poor decisions. That's all. Poor
and I know that some people will just like. It's always like we can't criticize Star Wars because it's our fandom, and like anything you say, then you're being negative or whatever. But like the truth of the matter is like, no, stop giving us crap sometimes.
Exactly. Sit and listen to the fans. Listen to the fans and put out a thing like have the fans chat and go in the chat and take ideas from the fans because it's ridiculous.
I think that I don't know how far that'll get them though, because the fans are going to say 20 different things.
No, time out. Okay, the chat, the Pulse chats are fucking toxic as shit. Half of them are have Gina Carano come back. Like, it's not happening. That's not a good suggestion. The other half
also
is
not the place for it. You don't tell Hasbro that you want an actor.
The other thing is like fuck vintage people. Once again, that's not what they're going to do.
Give me a 6-inch quarter scale.
Yeah,
a freaking Slave 1. I'll take that.
They just want to
be pretty big.
Well, I think you gotta when you do that, you gotta give at least with the add-ons and stuff that there's no value for the dollar either. That was the biggest problem with the Rancor. Like if they took that Rancor and did a better paint job and actually gave you value for the dollar instead of like cardboard and bones.
Exactly.
You know,
if they would have dropped down to
people would have probably gone in.
Rancor almost
like 200. I bought it. I would have bought it.
Rancor, the price point wasn't the problem. The point was when they need to have stuff done and the add-ons they should have added on.
That's what I mean. The add-ons were terrible.
Yeah, the add-ons were terrible.
Yeah.
They wanted what's her name? Lou, the slave girl. What's her name? They wanted her to be part of it. And they
wanted her. They wanted the Beastmaster, and they wanted the Gamorrean guard.
Yeah. I would have bought it if they would have added those other things. It would have been nice to buy.
Well, the background was bullshit. It was
the background sucks.
Cardboard.
That was horseshit.
Like the box. Rip the box up. And
there's the background. That's kind of like a lot of the stuff too. Like I don't know what you guys think about. Like they're coming out with the Vision comic, right? Like, and right now it doesn't have an incentive. It's probably going to have an incentive, but
it's going to have a couple of them,
huh?
They'll probably have a couple,
right? But my point is, like, at what point is it fatigue because you're not even putting out good? We just looked at some of the covers this time. We look at them in FOC all the time. A lot of these covers are shit. They're shit. They're half-ass shit that you're just throwing out there. So what?
That's been a problem I feel like for a long time, but
I understand that, but like, there's got to be a point where like, and some of the problem is that people are like FOC buying stuff that don't know, and they're like, hey, people are going to want this, but it's creating these fake numbers, and it's the same thing with collecting for a while. Those Black Series now there's so many pet hangers and all that stuff's going on clearance, and you want to know why? Because kind of what he said, people aren't tired of collecting; they just want cool shit, and they're not putting out cool shit. People are buying dog shit and trying to sell it to you like, hey, this is the top of the line stuff, and this is what we should be doing. I guess that's one of what, and I think it's across the board, and that's one of my biggest beefs in the last month, is like, hey, dude, I'm sick of all of it. I'm sick of having crappy comics being written and given to us. Like Dirge, they dropped that Dirge in the Afro book. That was dumb as dog shit. It was dumb what they did.
It made no sense because they wasted a character for nothing.
Right. So they did that. Okay. And now you can't. This at least is good writing here, but like, why do we have? It was the first time that they've done the Pride things that we actually had Dr. Afro, a good Dr. Afro on the Pride cover. And then you could have done it where you could have just, hey, guess what? All the characters that are in Afro pretty much fit in that stuff. why doesn't every single Afro book that you put in, if you're going to put in all the variants, why doesn't she have her own characters in her books? Why are we putting in Obi-Wan books? Why are we why do that type of stuff? You didn't need 3 covers. Did anybody buy all 3 covers for fucking Obi-Wan?
Yeah, I did.
Why, damn?
I'm sure there are people that did.
I put it aside.
I know, but why though? You're
I got the lightsaber.
money. Huh?
I got the lightsabers.
Yeah, that was a good one.
I got the Pride one because I actually like that character, even though she's a pain in the ass. Future going, but like my point is though, like what are we doing at one point? You're just trying to give us stuff, and we're buying crap. We're not even buying stuff we want anymore. We're literally.
Well, I'll get that other stuff in the dollar bins later. I can.
Yeah, don't buy it. I mean,
I know, but I'm at that point where I'm not anymore, and I think that's what Wayseeker's kind of saying.
You know what the funny thing is that people were panicking that there was nothing in the store shelves when things were coming out, and nobody can get anything. Now that the store shelves are now packed and things are going to discount because there's a lot of it out there, people panicking saying Star Wars isn't selling, and that's what happens with all these rumors that go out there. People start pushing out, oh, the Star Wars brand is dead because no one's buying this stuff. But they did buy it. This is all extra stuff they're putting out there now that people have all the stuff.
No, but part of the problem was people overbuying stuff to try to sell. And the people who were buying it didn't know what fans were going to buy. So, like, let's say you went there and you had some card guy going like, oh, wait, I hear that the
Star Wars figures are in. I'm going to just buy the whole case.
It's like the people that fill their house with toilet paper. They still got toilet paper in their house forever. Like, the price of toilet paper didn't go up. So what are you doing with yourself? You know what I mean? And that's kind of part of it.
You'll always need toilet paper.
Exactly.
You'll use it eventually.
I never ran out of the toilet paper that I used that Charmin.
It's like when you go on a game show and you win the lifetime supply.
Just give me baby wipes. Baby wipes, I'll take a freaking lifetime supply of that. That's better than freaking toilet paper.
But I think this is part of what we were talking on TAC the other day, and we don't have much of a show left, guys. So if you don't want to hear about this, or you want us to talk about something, please put it in the chat. But this is what we're going to talk about now.
We're talking about toilet paper.
Yeah, no, this is what I'm going to feel about. And like Pete sent me something too to read about somebody's opinion on something, and they're saying kind of the same thing as like, guys, we've been telling you not to get FOMO for a while, right? And everybody knows I give Dom a hard time, and he's a friend, but I give him a hard time because I don't want him to get suckered into stuff, and like. It's getting to a point here where we like, what are we doing? Because if we want to be around for the long time, I think we got to start calling stuff what it is. If you're going to talk about doing store exclusives, yeah, they're a shill. They're not going to hold value. And if you think I'm wrong, bet against me. It doesn't work well.
If you want a piece to put in your PC, your personal collection,
that's do that. We say it all the time.
Exactly.
Do that.
But don't expect it. Not to say that some might go up. Yes, some might go up, but don't forget with that one, that's selling for like $50 now. It costs $20. Yeah, think about all the other store exclusives that came out for that same book that they can't move. So hitting 1 out of 10 when you're paying $20, $30 a pop is a much bigger gamble for the average collector than.
And by the way, like
buying regular books.
Like I was talking to Sean today about it. Like I'm a second and third appearance collector at $1 or $2, or if it's Silver Age, like $5 or $6. I'm not a collector at. Nobody buys that for $80. Like, I don't care what you say. And yes, maybe somebody does, but stop letting people tell you what to buy. Buy what you like. And by the way, you're not going to make money off of a lot of this stuff. The truth to be told, I'm going to buy your
not in this market.
not hardly in any. The biggest lie that people have been telling you over the 2 years is like everything's going up. That's not true. There's tons of people who've got loads of shit that they could never move. Couldn't move. They still can't. They're not going to be able to. You know what I mean? That's the facts. That's the facts of life. People who are doing shows, including mine, I don't do this full time to sell this stuff, and I don't actually care that much about it, but I'm pretty decent at it. But there's a lot of guys out there who are telling you things, and they either do not sell or they're trying to sell their shit to you, and they're still losing money. Facts. Yes. That is a fact. So, I mean,
at this point right now, the way things are going, trying to sell stuff is not the way to go because you're not going to get the money value and what you paid for it if you got.
No, it wasn't there. All they were doing, the amount of suckers that are out there, they blew through them already. Yeah. They kept running through them.
You have less. Like you said, it's a product of two things. Collectors are getting pickier, I think, and some collectors are just because of economic woes or what have you have slowed down buying. Period. I know I have. Like I said on the tag show, I think I buy 20% of what I did a year ago, probably in comics. 20%, like far less than I did.
I think that's some of it, but I do think there's a large portion of people who, I mean, maybe it's just because look, I'm a collector, right? But I'm also a seller. Like I've never had a shame saying I'm both things. But like, cause I do sell a lot, I think when you see the selling market and you see the trends that keep repeating all the time, and you see what, like, there's a lot of people over the last 2 years, and Pete can probably attest to this too, that aren't buying anymore, but they weren't buying to collect. They were buying to try to resell.
Yeah. And I think it's some people that,
and that's the suckers. And these guys got buying sucker stuff, and now
when any market takes off, right, you get an influx of people coming in trying to be collectors, not necessarily even flippers or sellers, but just collectors in general, because they think, oh, this market's going up, it's going to go up forever. Well, once that market actually doesn't go up forever and they start to see that, they stop. And they say, I've spent $5,000 in this hobby and I've gotten nowhere, and they just give up.
Well, I think one of the comments that I think I was addressed, and I think I saw it, was the guy said, like, it's not, you're not speculating if it's only holding value for 2 or 3 days. And I was asked by multiple people, what was my opinion on that? And I was like, he's right. The guy who said it's 100% right. That's not it. It is completely influenced. And when you see those fluctuations, and believe me, I'm not even like 10 years ago, Wednesday Warring was something different. Okay. And people that weren't around try to use the excuse that, like,
100% true, Wookie.
What's that?
So it's depressing.
But what? So it was a long. If you guys want to hear it, a long time ago, Wednesday Warring was different. But that was because not everybody was FOCing. It was harder. Not everybody got variants in. So there was a supply and demand issue for some of these variants. Okay, and I'm not saying what we used to do was.
Well, not only just supply and demand, but shops charge less.
Yeah, way less.
Remember the good old days when you get like a ratio variant for like less than ratio instead of like twice the ratio.
Half ratio was like the spot, like the one store
all the models coming out for Venom and stuff. Those things, what are they all 1 in 50s? You could get them for like I was buying them for $20. Like that's how when
there was all the early Vader ones, like the 2015, like the early Vader books, like I bought every incentive because they were only like $12. All the 1 in 25, I bought them all. Do you remember they were cheap? I'm like,
okay. If you remember, sometimes with those Taylor Christopher ones, if you bought the Taylor Christopher one, they were giving you the A book away with, like, you could do a deal. Like I was at one where they were giving, like, you pretty much bought 2 books, you got 2 books for free, and one of them was a variant.
I had one place, like literally, like if there was a 1 in 25, right? You get the bundle with the 1 in 25, the A, and then usually like the B, which was like an action figure cover or whatever, for like $20.
Lewis, that's not. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of how. I guess that's kind of how it goes. I mean, spec should be something that is long term, though. I think is the point to it. Like he says, if you're getting spec knowledge off someone.
Well, see, that's the thing. I've never viewed spec as long term. I've always viewed people that do spec as like a year tops. Like, I mean, more than a couple days. I agree, but like,
I'm saying in this market, a year is a long time.
Yeah. No, I mean, I would say like so. No, only in certain cases. It depends on what's happening, but usually it's like a lot of the stuff that we pay off is stuff that I bought like 3-4 years. Like we're selling the stuff we were buying in 2000. Like,
well, I know there's exceptions, but I'm saying the majority of what you see peddled is spec, at least.
Right, but like so this is how it works. So like a lot of stuff that I bought in 2017 and 18 is hitting now. As far as getting rid of it, right? I mean, for a price, but buying it for pennies and going. And I'm not talking about like when I buy like a X-Men collection and we go through and sell to collectors the majority of the collection and take out the keys. That's a different scenario. But like, I'm just saying in general for the speculation, it is a couple years to get back what you're earning. But once again, back then, Wednesday Warring was different. Now, and also too, diamond accounts, you actually used to have a verified like building. You don't have to have
a physical location.
Yeah, you don't have to have that shit anymore. So everybody's got it now. So now,
I don't know if you do in cards. It's weird.
I think. Well, I think if you go
cards is different though. Cards, it's like you got to get in and you got to get like access.
Yeah, well, it was reversed because cards used to be like you didn't have to have a physical location. It was like the opposite. And now because there's these online breaking and everybody's become so big and streaming and everything else, like now you do have to have a physical location to get in with the distributor or whatever.
I'd be careful with that though, Wayseeker. That I think Star Wars leaves great breadcrumbs for things coming way in the future.
All of it's be careful. I mean, think of all the think of all the indie books that just because something gets optioned.
Indie books.
I'm just saying, an indie book gets optioned, and everybody all of a sudden, Empty Man got optioned. Empty Man, let's all go buy Empty Man. Does anybody even remember when Empty Man actually was released? And was it in the theaters? Was it on Netflix? Do you remember? Did you watch it?
One I always remember is The Kitchen.
Like that's what I'm like. The Kitchen. It could have been a great story, but ultimately, what's the long-term plan?
Umbrella Academy is arguably one of the better shows on like that on the streaming platforms. And how are those books doing? Because they ain't doing good.
Well, was it Paper Girls? The other one that came out, Paper Girls, that they just showed the preview.
Paper Girls.
I would actually pretty good.
It does seem pretty good, but that at least with third issues, you have a few seasons worth of content before you're going to run out.
Yeah.
See, this is what I worry about, and I'm not knocking guys, but since you volunteered the information, Darth, how much do you sell? Like, I'm just asking. I'm not trying to be about it. I'm not trying to. What I'm saying is like some of the speculation stuff that you hear, and I'll just give you tips. When you start hearing weird stuff like this is going to be a first appearance of Dr. Aphra as a Sith, and I guess that's why I'm bringing this one up, and we're like, no, it's not, and then we get hate mail from people, and they're like, well, you just don't know what you're talking about. Turns out like it's a whatever the heck it is, an external beating. That's not something that has sustainability to it, right? Like it just doesn't, and you see it all the time. Yeah. Exactly. So, like, how can you agree? But how can you agree that Star Wars is long term?
You're just going to buy it to collect it. It's not the same thing.
Well, it depends. But I think Wayseeker was probably a little more picky about a spec than that. Is my point. I think it depends on what you're specking on. Like, are you specking on like just Dr. Aphra as a character? Like, are you buying the best Dr. Aphra covers and then stashing those, or like that was a Galaxy's Edge variant that's like $400 right now. Like, are you stashing that? Or are you selling that? Like, to me, that's the specking for Star Wars that's long term. It's not the this character has a new hairstyle, or it may be Han's father.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like, get away from those, or like, hey, Dr. Aphra on the cover is wearing a uniform that's an Imperial, and some Imperial showed up as not named in a TV show. So
Dr. Aphra with her on the cover.
Yeah. Well, I like that cover.
I like that cover too.
Still, there's not a lot of Hera appearances.
That's it
in comics that so that's why that makes that a little more interesting.
Though is like those aren't things that you should ever be like first team ups and like come on, man, that's not stuff. And then you've got every character, right? So like, and I'm not saying it's a bad thing to have a favorite character or see something in the future like Wayseeker just said, because I've had conversations with Wayseeker about before about the breadcrumbs and everything too. Same thing with Lopez and stuff like that. But like, yeah, if you're gonna go in on a character that you believe, but High Republic released how many characters? 42? Some shit like that? Somewhere around there? All 42 ain't gonna be Miles Morales. You know what I mean? Like it's not gonna happen.
Maybe they'll be Tosin. Where's Horn?
Yeah. See, that's the thing. It's really a diamond in the rough if you're going to find a Star Wars character now that's going to come out, like for the High Republic, that's really going to take off and be up there, like with the Dr. Aphra when she first appeared.
But what is Dr. Aphra? Hold on. What is Vader 3 going for? Because as big as Dr. Aphra is, hey, Pete, look up what Vader 3 9.8's going for right now.
Regular 9.8?
It's regular, because I know the variant's only going for like $1,200, which is the lowest price it's been in a year and a half.
All books are down on all ends.
Well, but that's a lot of books are down to the lowest point they've been here.
Hey, no, not all books are down. That's
I didn't say all. I said a lot.
I got boxes full of graded books that the prices are still going up on and aren't going down.
$300?
Yeah, $300.
Well, that's pretty stable.
That's stable. Okay, I'll give you that one. That's
that's also Spider. That's like Spider Gwen amount, like at cover A. For a while, that was like $300 in a 9.8.
Mm-hmm. Which, when you look at something like that, that's a fair book that maybe you should look at, right? Like that's an okay fair book. It's staying at $300 for it. But when you see these huge jumps and spikes and then they can't sustain, that's manipulation of a market. And most of the times it's because somebody who doesn't know much will go on the internet with a couple thousand followers and
They will
look at the variant for that. You said it's down to the lowest points, but I don't think that's market manipulation. I think that's just the market. I don't think anything's being manipulated with that 1 in 25.
No, because that book, I guarantee if you go look at that book, it's mentioned a bunch of times, and Apple hit it up and say, this was mentioned here because Dr. Afra has a chance.
It doesn't matter. But Dr. Afra does have a chance of coming.
Yeah, she does.
That does matter. That matters when they do it, even if I agree with you that it doesn't matter because eventually down the line, sure, she does have but that's not how this goes. It wasn't a long-term hold for Afra to come down. It was
also the variant's like at 2K now.
Yeah, what did it used to be? What was its height?
Around 28.
That. 28 was its height.
Yeah, but I'd say 2. It was around.
Well, was 28 one sale or 28
no, it was right around 28 for a long time.
Well, I'm looking on July 1st, so just 2 days ago, one sold for $1,949.99. And then there was a best offer on $2,000 on June 28th. So I don't know.
Whatever it is, we looked at this
2K basically.
Yeah, we looked at this a couple weeks ago because it was one of the books we were going to put up in the thing of like books that fell off, and whatever the height sale price was for the longest time that was going for, and there was numbers right around it. I can't remember what the height was, but whatever the height was, right around it, right, it has fallen off since then. It has fallen back down to a year and a half, like the price a year and a half ago. So that's $2,000, whatever it is. My point being, or 1.9, whatever it is. But if you're sitting around there, that's a big JJ in the market. That's a big fall off. That's a lot. That is a big fall off when you're talking about key books. I mean, you might not think it now because of what the last 2 years, but overall for the market, it is.
I don't know. That's weird though, because there are extreme highs that show up for certain books at certain times.
Well, we did that when we did
crazy spikes, whether they be shill sales, real sales, shill sales or not. Books sometimes hit crazy highs.
And I think a lot of times when you talk highs, you're talking like, was that like
I'm talking average high.
27 to 2,800 sale? Is that the high? And you're just taking 2 sales, or are you taking
no. When we're saying 28 is the average high, we're taking like 5 or 6 sales, multiple sales around the time. Now with that book, it's a variant. There's not a ton of them out there. So you can't take 100 books out of there, but you're taking at least
a decent amount of them out there.
At least you can see the average. But what's that?
There's a decent amount of that 125. You do the math. Do the math on Vader 3. That has
not as many as there are Vader 3 A covers.
No. But there's still plenty.
You can look at Cad Bane. You can get a 9.6 for under 100 now, which I wonder too. Hey Nathan, 50% of average price. Yeah. Which I wonder too. What is he saying? I can't see where he said. He said something. I'm trying to read his thing. What I'm saying about it too, though, is like now I forgot what I'm saying completely because I got confused by the chat. So I shouldn't buy a hair newsie. Should you or shouldn't you? I don't know. What are you saying about that? I mean, Thrawn's coming. He's coming. He should be coming.
What are you buying it for, and what are you buying in? I
mean, I don't know what I should. I mean, you didn't give us a lot of information. Did you buy it? Oh, price to move.
So apparently, someone just sent me something. That the
piece of room, so I'm not paying anything more than 50 cents a piece.
The plastic free. They're doing the plastic free packaging now. And
for what? Pops?
For the toys, for the like the vintage figures and stuff like that. They're not gonna have a plastic anymore. It's all cardboard. So there's a error on the Tatooine 3 3/4 Boba Fett that they just found.
Oh really?
Yeah, because you can't see what it looks like. You have to open up the box to find out because it's in a box instead of a plastic. So they just sent me a picture of it. I'm like, God damn, now I need to get that.
Like, but I mean, there are
opinion on 9.6s. What's your opinion on 9.6s?
Me, I love 9.6s.
Because for a long time,
the prices right.
Yeah, for a long time, the 9.6 was not very sought after. That was a new thing that came around in the last couple of years. Was the 9.6 where you started getting better value for that price.
I mean, there's a few books that I bought in 9.6 because there was no way in hell I was going to be able to afford the 9.8. Like the Jenny Frizen Voltron book, there's no way I was affording a 9.8 in that book. But 9.6 came up for like $200 or something like that. And I'm like, all right, I can swing that because that's like raw price. I'll take a 9.6 for the price of a raw.
There's certain books where the 9.6 can actually be a little more stable price-wise than the 9.8.
Do you think that part of the reason that the 9.6 closed the gap in the 9.8 was because right around that time, and just you can be honest about this, right around that time, there was a bunch of people thinking that the crack press.
Yeah. There's just also one thing I always do when I consider buying like a 9.6, unless it's like some sort of weird snap decision, but I always look at the census and I always look and see like how many 9.6 there are in relative to 9.8.
But part of the problem with that is when you're crack pressing, it screws up both those numbers.
No, I'm not even talking about crack press. I'm just talking about in general. When I look at buying a 9.6, like value-wise to me, like if there's twice as many 9.8s as there are 9.6s, that book is never going to get close to that thing. And your odds of crack pressing it are not great.
No, I mean...
Yeah. So if there's already
so I'd never rely on that. Like, and there are some books I have that I would like to crack press, but I don't buy them with the feeling, man, this could be definitely a 9.8 if I crack press it.
No, I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying on that. But what I'm saying is when you're looking at the numbers, even in the census, because there's so much cracking and pressing going on there for a while. And like that was part of the thing too. Some of these, I mean, I talked about on TAC, but like, people be on their IG like, I can't believe this book. CGC doesn't know what they're doing. And you crack pressed a 9.6 and it came back a 9.4. Yeah, well, dummy. You shouldn't have. You don't know if that was on-site grading. You don't know how that 9.6 came out.
Yeah, you don't know where the 9.6 came from
because you're not. A lot of these people don't press their own stuff, so you don't know what happened there. You don't know if you don't know if they pre-screened it and it got on the top book or the bottom book because if you submit to CGC, you might as well throw your top book and bottom book away. They're not getting 9.8s because they put the rubber band around it, right? So that's not happening. Like you don't know any of these things. So like I don't know how, like. That 9.6, anybody who was cracking and pressing, I'm sorry. If you guys are doing the 9.6 crack press thing and then complaining about it afterwards, there's a cup.
There's also just I'm not say human error, but these are still being viewed by humans and different humans. So there's a lot of gray area. There's a lot that could happen. I mean, shit. One of the books I sent in, I pre-screened a book 9.8. I think it was Ms. Marvel 8, the Jen Bartel cover. Pre-screened a 9.8. They said no, send it back to me. So I said, I still want it graded. I should have just done it the first time. So then I sent it back in second submission. Just send it back in. Just give me whatever you want because I figured it'd be a 9.6. And then they gave me the 9.8 for the same book. I didn't press it. I didn't do nothing to it. They literally mailed it back to me. I mailed it back to them. They said no the first time and then gave it to me the second time. And I'm like, okay.
There's plenty of books when we need the extra one.
It's just a crapshoot half the time. It's just, it is what it is. You're going to get what you get.
I have a book that's been through 3 times. Monstrous 1, the second print. Bought like when it first came out. Sent it in once, got a 9.6. I was like, it's a thick book and it has like the bindery tear, it's very like at the corner. I'm like, but that's something that should pass or whatever. So I sent it back in 9.4. I was like, sons of bitches. Sent it back in, got a 9.6. So it's literally been through the ringer. Only ended up right back where I was. See, I love that book. So I mean, it's one of those I'm never going to sell. But.
Hey, do you think eventually the 9.6?
I don't think though. Hey, hold on now. There's lots of kind of human error, but I don't know how many human error there is there. For the most part,
I'm saying it's very
98% of the time. 98%. Think about the difference between a 9.6 and a 9.8, right? Like if you actually know the difference between a 9.6 and a 9.8, it really is razor. It's like
that's what but that's my point. Like it's that close. Like so that's where I can see it being judgment call.
Do you think eventually
9.6, 9.4? If they hit you on 9.4 one time, they hit you on 9.6 one time, and they hit you 9.6 another time. I don't know if it's human error. I think they got it right. You're between a 9.6 and a 9.4. Like that's what you're grading.
You factor in the grading. Like technically a 9.2 is near mint. So if you went back to our old school days of collecting one, hey, this is near mint, whatever. Like a 9.2 is near mint.
That's what happened with that Monstrous. I'm sure there was probably a little tiny spine. Something on the spine that I didn't see that the 9.4 guy saw, and then I sent it back in, and the 9.6 guy the second time around didn't catch it.
Yeah, he didn't catch the light didn't catch that one little spot down the spine where it was.
It's all subjective.
The 9.6s will eventually come close to the 9.8s, like eventually in price wise. Like there's such a huge gap.
And no, this isn't a huge gap. No. Go back and look what
this is. This is about the tightest it's been in a while.
Tight.
It all depends on the book. There's some books there's not.
Yeah, it needs to be so. like if I got 9.6s, I'd throw them away. Like it was garbage.
Yeah.
Like that's how bad it was.
Really?
That's how bad the capping was. It was terrible.
Oh yeah.
Like you'd be lucky if you got your grading and shipping fees back out of 9.6s. Like you might as well be selling a 7.0. I mean, it really would.
Yeah.
Well, that also depends on what the book
modern,
you know. That's what I mean. That's what I'm saying. Like with the modern,
I know.
Well, we mentioned the after 1 in 25, right?
What's the expectations? What's that?
For her first appearance, I bought. I think I bought my 9.8. I bought both copies of these. I have of it. I had graded, like I bought graded. I didn't buy a raw, and my 9.8 I think I bought for like 175 way back in the day, and then I actually had a 9.4 that I bought around the same time. That like Marco said, is basically a 9.4 that was at the time a throwaway book. I think I bought it for $60. Wow. Which you take a 1 in 25 and you sent it to CGC and you got it back and you sold it for $60.
Dude,
I probably didn't make a damn thing on the thing.
Oh, I think I sold my Miles Morales, my Ultimate Fallout 4 9.4. I just threw it away for $110 because I'm like, who cares? It's a 9.4. Who's gonna want that book?
Like nobody's ever gonna want this 9.4 modern book.
That's when raws were like $50. Like raws were like $50, and I found a crap load of them.
You know what's crazy?
At a store
between 2012 and 2014, with all these modern books that came out, the Miles Moraleses, the Kamala Khans, all these things. Now these books are so much money. Some of them they reached values of Silver Age comics, which was amazing. The Miles Morales, the 9.8.
That makes me nervous.
That's scary because when you have modern age comics getting that high in price, there's got to be some kind of a crash. And
yeah, but I mean, it's staying up there. I mean,
my fear is the correction is that it makes all the Silver Age books even more out of my reach.
Yeah,
that's the thing. I'm never getting my goddamn X-Men one.
Look, that's
why I afford the goddamn thing.
And you look at though, I mean, from a perspective, Ultimate Fallout 4 is a terrible example because there's hundreds of thousands of those things out there. But like, you compare most modern books. Well, I know it's 1992, so it's not super modern. But look at Harley Quinn, Batman Adventures 12.
Yeah,
like I mean, that's not a high printed book for the 90s. So you can have some of those first appearances that even in the modern books that slide in there. So.
Would you rather have that book 9.8 or the 1 in 25 Delovich first Miles Morales?
They don't have a quota.
Oh, the Jurdovic?
Well, I'd rather have the Miles Morales than the Harley Quinn because it's worth 10 times as much. But I mean,
and that's also the question that you got to pose: is like, is it to resell it or is it just?
What are we talking here?
Exactly. You either keep it for your collection or you keep it. You put it out there and sell.
Mojo, how many books did you submit? And do you mind telling us roughly what era they're in or what books they are?
I mean, I don't know that it's. To me, that's not like I would say it's scary CGC, and I've used that same term. But you got to think like we said earlier, it's subjective, and just keep that in mind. Like and I look at it as anything where I think I graded with my crappy eyes. Like I'm pretty much already saying it's probably going to be when I actually send it in at least a half or 0.2 points lower or whatever. So because there's something I probably didn't catch.
And I will also say this about both companies. Both CGC and CB, even though you know me, I think I own one CBC. That's book, and I think I bought it for $20. Thank you. Bless you. Is that both companies do try to do the best, and I think they're try to be as pretty honest with what they're doing as what they do. Now, EGX or whatever, EGC and PGX like garbage, but those two professional companies, even though I'll disagree whichever one Steve's working at the time, because I don't think he should be working at either. His ponytail should go someplace. But I think for the most part, the average grader that's grading there, the couple of them, the skill check people are doing the best job they can. And they do a pretty solid job. And I will say this because 98% of the time, the books I get back, it's not just me and Sean, when we grade them, the books that we get back hit our error of where they should fall 98% of the time. So if the human error is 2% of the time, I think that's pretty good for a grading company. I cannot speak on CBCS because I don't use them.
Yeah. Well, it comes with experience and territory. I remember the very first book I sent in, I was like, man, this book looks awesome. It's for sure a 9.8. It has like an 8.5 or something. Like you quickly learn then that you don't have the eye and you have to develop the eye. And I've gotten to the point where it's probably within. I'm still usually off, but I'm kind of more conservative. But I've gotten to the point where it's within like a half point at least.
Yeah, I think the human subjective part comes more in those people who don't have your experience in looking at books, Marco. So when they were to send in books that they saw had a tick or two and they still got a 9.8 anyway, you're like, oh, that means this is a 9.8. And then they expect it every time.
I would say that was a gimme
grade and they slip past the goalie, then that becomes your range of what you think
and
works.
What I'm saying about the 2% too, that's when we call it gift grades. That's when you got the gift grade when you're like, oh shit, that isn't that grade. They gave us the higher grade in. But like that's still in the 2% of screw up. Now, some of those screw ups have been very costly both ways, though. Like some of them have been $1,000 screw ups on CGC's end, some of them been a couple $100 screw ups on CGC's end for positive for us. So it's not like it does even out in the end. I don't think this is true, Eric. I think they hired enough people and stuff. I think that's why the waits had gotten so long. I think the only thing with moderns, I think, has become a little tougher because of the technology that they now use through scanning in the light systems. So I do think it's harder for that, but also people are submitting more books, so they're getting more books. It's easier.
Paper's getting shittier and shittier.
Mm-hmm.
That is what I mean. Judgment of graders between 9.6 or 9.8. Maybe I should have said. Oh yeah. No, I mean like it does come. It is that close to 9.6, 9.8. Like I don't. If anybody just goes through and is like, this book is a 9.8, and you don't say this grade is between like a 9.6 and a 9.8 or a 9.4. And
you know what sucks?
Like
I
they're
had the
not
first Boba
like,
Fett newsstand at 9.6, and the book is mint. The only thing that's wrong with it, why it's a 9.6, is a little color on the top of the comic itself, a little red mark. So I don't know. That was an error.
But that's another thing. How big's the red mark? How far is it? How much? I mean, like, is the inside really that good? Like, I mean, those are all the things that play in. Like, people sometimes are like, well, the cover looked great, and it's like, well, cool. I'm glad your cover looked great. What did the inside look like? Oh, you have metal pages. Like,
how tight were how tight's the cover? Like,
or
how tight are the staples? Like,
do you have binary tearing? Do you have like, well, don't
color rub?
Dude, please don't be stress. Like, what's that one thing they kept saying?
Oh,
corner stuffing,
thumb stress. No, what's spine?
Finger dents.
What's it never been open before? They're like, there's
whatever it was. We nicknamed it. It was thumb fucked afterward. That's what we called it, but I don't remember what it was.
Yes, yeah. I was like, oh, they thumb fucked the term. They thumb fucked the book.
I got the book you told me to get.
The manga.
Yeah,
you got the phone book.
Yeah, the phone book. Let me ask you a question. All kidding aside,
let me ask Dom. Which is thicker, that or the phone book of New York now? Which is.
You know what? I remember the phone book in New York.
Remember that?
I remember that. This is actually pretty thick. So they sent these covers. You put on it like that. So you have to put the covers. I was trying
to. It's more like a dust jacket than it is like a cover.
Yeah, than a cover.
Yeah.
Why is the first print more than the second print? Because the first print's the actual first appearance.
Pretty cool though.
The second print is a reprint.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Like, oh well, there's less made. At that point, it doesn't matter.
That's why. That's another word that people have fucking used in this.
Also, don't forget the second print of that is 2 covers.
Yeah, that too.
So yeah, there's no shortage of the second print either.
Yeah, that's another thing that I dislike is the Shilla second print, the live second print. It's a reprint. Do get that correct. It is a.
You know what's crazy now too? The reprints. The second print that people didn't buy and they were all going up. Now the second prints, you can buy them, and the values aren't even going up in the second prints now. Like
that was a fad for a while.
Yeah.
And I think that was one that influencers used, or at least personalities used. They used that to try to create something new in the market.
There's certain things that establish it. Like I think the Kamala Khan. So I mean, that'll always be an iconic second print more valuable than the first. But it's because the character's on the cover, and there's like certain things going for that second print that you don't have going for the first. So
exactly. But it's kind of
interesting to collect, but to Margot's point, they still are reprints.
Yeah,
it's not
like the covers where they just change the color. Mm-hmm. Highly unusual that those are going to. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, number one.
Yeah, a lot of them. DC. Remember for a while, DC. Every second print DC book was just red.
Marvel too. They just did the borders.
It was the same as the A cover, just red.
So a lot of those were the ones I was talking about earlier. I've got a couple of boxes, and I just can't. Like I can't even fathom now. Some of them I can't, because it used to be the rule of thumb was every 3 years you would go up 12% on the book, right? And like now, some of the prices on those things, and they're not coming down. Like they really aren't, which is kind of dope. I like that.
I think a lot of those like silver, bronze age era books though are probably coming into correction territory a little bit. You don't think so?
No. It depends. If it's true silver keys, like first appearance of, like you're talking like 53 on, right? Like 53 probably to about into probably about 58, 59, maybe even to 62. Those books, no. Like when you're looking at the Overstreet, guys, maybe we should put this up on the tax show one time and just show the Overstreet 100 for the last.
Well, yeah.
You're talking about the year, like when you're saying 52 to
3. Yeah.
Like,
but I mean, that's like whatever, anything pre 60.
You're talking about. I'm talking like you're talking about Showcase 4, Flash, then going on from there. You know what I mean? You go on those, and then you start getting right before you start getting into the Neil Adam Batmans and stuff like that, like. And Green Lantern.
That's the DC side of things, but what about the Marvel side of things, where they didn't really start hitting until the 60s as it is, like Amazing Fantasies and
I think the Marvels like even the late, like, which is more bronze, but like the late 60s, the early 70s stuff, like I don't know that all that's holding as much as
it isn't.
A lot of people thought, but
no, that stuff isn't. I give you that in bronze, but you have to remember, like think about 6 years ago or 7 years ago, the bronze market compared, like.
But I think that's where everything really took off, was that bronze and later market in the last 2 years. Not so much the silver. The silver's always been steady. The silver's
been steady. That's what I'm saying. It's still so there's no course correction for it because it's gotten a little higher, but it's still steady.
It's gotten a shit ton. Some of the books have gotten. Because only reason I know is because there's books I don't have that now I really can't afford.
Well, I think some people have gone into those, invested into.
I could have gotten in like an X-Men 1 for like a low grade X-Men 1, 2.5 lower, whatever. I could have gotten one for like $1,000, $1,500.
Yeah,
I didn't. Now, like a 2.5 is going to cost me like $10,000.
Those were you're talking about books that were at the back end of the top 50, compared to now they're at like okay, so like people make fun of me because of the 2 AF-15s that I sold, but at the time, like AF-15 was like number 4 on the top 50. So it wasn't like I was selling the top Silver Age book. And for the prices that we were getting, it was still lunacy. Like it was crazy what you could get for those books. So like that, I mean, that's I don't think I'm mad at it for what I paid. I got a lot of money, but if I would have held on for 4 more years, 5 more years, and 8 more years,
well, again, that goes with anything.
It's funny, we talked about second prints. What do you think about like second print versions of those books, like the golden record reprints and stuff?
I buy them.
Dude, how do you know what I'm going to do tomorrow? I'm literally going to talk about the golden.
Are you really?
Yeah. You know what? I'm putting them in oddities on Hidden Gems because people might not know.
You know what? AOA.
Swear to God, the golden records reprints.
Great lines. What can I say?
My last landline, they just can't. They're sending me a cell phone. They don't let you do landlines anymore, so they canceled my last landline, and they are now sending me a cell phone. Yeah, they start to go digital with your landlines, and then
you keep sending my mom the because she has like the old cell phone. You keep sending my mom the your 3G cell phone's going to expire.
Oh yeah, that's what they did. So they did. Yeah, I've got that too, but they ended up. So I traded mine in finally, my cell phone in. For
I just actually ordered one today. I won't have to send my
no water damage by the way on the. I had the Galaxy.
Listen, I missed the days of having the landline. You go on the phone, you grab it on the phone, you're like, "Hello, I'm not home." Click.
You're not home.
I remember when I was a kid, we had the phone in the kitchen, like, and it wasn't cordless.
Yeah, with the super long cord.
Had like the 10-foot cord. You just drag it around the kitchen.
When we were younger, we used to have a lot of bill collectors calling like Third Notice and stuff. So like our parents had always taught us whenever they ask for anybody, you tell them that they're on vacation in Europe and they won't be returning for over a year. So that's what we always do.
It was always so cool to have a phone. And
that's the thing. When I was a kid, when I got my phone line in my room, it was also the internet line because we had the dial-up. Like my phone.
Pete was that kid with the second line.
Marvel Rub. What was the Marvel Rub shirt?
That was the thing before cell phones was like the second line. Like if you had the second line, like you were in.
You got mail. Now I tell you one thing. It was fun when the answer machines came out. You could put your own thing on it. Sorry, can't come to the phone right now, but leave your name and number. We'll get back to you as soon as we can.
You realize how bad we're all like dating ourselves.
I know.
Right now.
I know. Hey,
like, we could all talk about that same gray and beige, wireless phone everybody got with the same.
Exactly.
Next tax show tier list. Things only if we are old enough to remember.
You want to go old school? How about a Betamax? I remember my first Betamax.
You know what the weirdest thing was was that people rented their phones from the phone company. And when I found out that they were still like in 2000, I'd seen an account list and I was like, how is like
it still happens.
Yeah,
you have cable TV or cable internet, you're probably renting your modem or your box.
Modem and box, I get that. Yeah. But the
9X Yellow Pages with James L. Jones.
The technology in a phone wasn't changing readily enough that you needed to replace your phone you know what I mean?
Yeah, but that's how they get you now with the phone. You're not renting it, you're buying it. But you're going to be paying for your phone for 3 years. But you're going to get a new phone.
You're buying it on installments.
You're going to keep paying for that old phone.
It's like a car.
I outright bought this phone. It cost me $600. My wife got the same phone. It cost me $1150 for hers because she couldn't trade anything in for it.
But the funny thing is that you're going to keep buying new ones.
Pay off. Just bought it off.
Every 6 months with a new phone.
So you're all hesitant towards Vader 3. Second for not a cool cover. So are you all hesitant towards Vader 3?
Well, I mean, the cover is the same.
I like the purple one, the fourth print.
I do like the purplish fourth print.
Yeah,
I like
the purple.
Well, what I'm saying is, like, if you can get them for the right price, if you can get them cheap enough, I think $300. I think Vader 3, the A cover, is solid because it's sticking at $300. Who right now is talking about Afra show? I mean, there's always some, but no big notifications have happened, no big rumors have happened, and it's sticking around $300, which was around for a while. So I don't think that's a bad one, right? Especially considering it's a character that people actually really do love. Not one person, but people.
It's not like you're taking a flyer on the character. It's an established character. I mean, she's been in the Star Wars universe for what? 7 years now?
Yeah, she's had multiple volumes of comics that have not mini series.
2015, JJ. So like almost 10 years now. She's an established character.
7 years.
Be that as it may, however we want to talk about that. I think the point about the later printings, though, is why would you? I like the later printings because they're kind of fun to collect. But honestly, why would you want to have a fourth print over a first print for a character? If you could only have one, for your collection, you could have one. Why would you want the reprint over the first print? And don't tell me because it's more rare. Because I could print you a 6th print tomorrow and say there's only 5 copies.
Well, that's the thing.
Like, to be the rarest. Like,
you look at like what they've done recently, like for like Celebration prints. They had the print of High Republic 1 in a certain time. I mean, there's those. But like when you look at that book in particular, the later print, especially the 4th print, there is far less of them printed.
There are.
So there's a rarity factor there. But I don't know that rarity factor elevates it much above the first, in my opinion, personally.
Look, I get it that it's going to be priced more because of supply and demand. I understand how economics work, but I'm just saying in practical terms, what do you want to make sure you secure for your collection first?
But I think some people
collectors period. Like that's the A covers what they're good. Like when you go into comic shop, I don't hear friends and collectors going, "Oh, I really need that 4th print of Vader 3." They're like,
"It's true."
I was like, "Yo, dude, can I get one of your Vader 3s?"
No, because you know what you hear? You hear that, man, dude. You know what I found for cheap? That 4th print. I can't wait to sell this shit to somebody else. That's what I hear.
That's what those guys are saying. They're like, they don't care about it. So,
well, now it's become so much that like collectors buy every print and like you collect it. But back then it was for the actual reasons of like, well, now you can buy the 4th print because you couldn't get the first 3 for a decent price or whatever.
Yeah, right. Heck with that 4th print. I'm looking for that Mexican friggin' edition.
I don't think it's every collector that's like that. I think that the majority of collectors only want one copy of it. They don't necessarily. Not everybody's like us that got to have everything. No. Not completion. That's the biggest lie that's ever told. Every Star Wars fan is a completionist. Well, it depends on what they mean by completionist. They don't have to have every variant in every cover. You know what I mean?
You'd be surprised. Well, we talk comics on this channel, but I've said it before. Probably your vast majority of Star Wars fans, I'd say a large percentage of them, don't touch comics.
Remember this till like this last Celebration. There wasn't really comic booths at Celebration. There was dudes that had sold toys and had a couple comics or a box here and a box there, but it wasn't comics wasn't that big of a deal.
Yeah, collectability in Star Wars comics is down down there.
Yeah.
Just is.
Marco, at what price are you currently willing to pay for it? See, this is a tough question, Wookie, because I've already got I've got so many copies of this that.
But I think before we move on to this question,
okay, yeah, go ahead.
Before we move on to this question, I think Marco, you and JJ hit a very interesting point about Star Wars, their collectability, and comics. I think where we're at now with the market on a lot of these Star Wars books isn't because of Star Wars fans and Star Wars comic fan collectors. It's because the regular comic collectors are now playing with the Star Wars market. They have no idea who these characters are. All they know is there's money to be made, and are just
absolutely
grabbing books, selling. Therein lies the difference.
I'm out. How much of that though is play between buying from each other and selling back to each other?
Well, that is also
a lot of it is. Yeah.
That is also true. It is a long game of hot potato.
Yeah, just don't get stuck.
Who's going to get stuck with the book? Oh, you have. Hey.
I think Pete's right as far as of what's moving the Star Wars comic market. It's not necessarily Star Wars collectors. I think it's what we just said.
I agree.
Whatever you want to turn it as, but sellers selling to other sellers or what have you.
I agree with those statements 100%. Yep, I think you're right. I love you too. I 100% agree with what you guys said. I agree with that statement. I think that's a lot of it. And don't be caught with the hot potato. I do think there are other books that probably are, and like the ones again, Afra is a book.
Let's go back to this.
Yeah, before we get there. Now, Saul will try to ask you a question too. Just let me get to this one first. Marco, at what price are you currently willing to pay for Vader 3? So if it's raw, Vader 3, if it's $300, and I figure that's fair, and that's going to be a trend that's going to stick around for a couple of years, or at least till she shows up, and then we'll probably get 2 times the book on the return, so it'll be about $1,000 book at a 9.8 when she pops, which I don't think is out of the realm as long as the market stays semi-healthy, and even with a little deflation, it should still be held semi-healthy. So, around this time, with how many copies I have, if I get one for 20 raw, no matter what the grade is,
20.
Yeah, I mean that. Well, I got 10 copies.
He's probably got a box full somewhere.
No, dude.
I mean, talk to Wookiee in real terms. Like,
I would not. He asked a question. I have 10 copies.
I think Marco speaking from his own personal experience. I would say, as a guy who collects less and sells far less, who may be closer to Wookiee's situation.
Hold on. He asked, and I go to a lot of places, and I hunt all the time. I'm out in the streets all the time. So that's what Marco's price is on it. Not JJ's price, not Petey's. Pete would only play $1. So don't.
No. I pay. I'll pay. If it's a book I want, I'll pay for it. And I'll tell you.
That's what I'm saying. I don't want it. I got 10 copies. Well, so $20 is what I pay.
My rule of thumb is about, so if I think it's a stable book, then I think that's a stable book, Vader 3. I mean, I don't think it's going to go. It may drop a little bit, but I don't think it's massively going to go down.
Yes.
Like my rule of thumb is like I look at what a 9.8 is. I look at what a 9.8 could be. Like Marco said, it could be $1,000 9.8 book at some point. Mm-hmm. And then I go by what it is now, and I maybe go like 1/4 of that price in a raw. If I think a raw has potential to be highly
if 9.8 is at $300, then what do you grab a raw for?
About 80.
That's what I would say.
Are you asking
under $100? If I can get around 80, I'd probably be comfortable. Thinking I'm not going to lose money.
$80, yeah, 65 to 80.
Have one already.
I'm cheap though. If I didn't have one, yeah. If I didn't, that's not the question he asked though.
Yes,
I know, but
I don't think $80 is out of pocket for some. If I believe it's stable, if I believe the low on the book, I thought is around 220, 240, which I believe the low on that book would be 220, 240, right?
Yeah.
In the next 5 years, the low on the book.
But you made a joke before about me paying for $1. You're not wrong, because if I saw that in the shop for $80 tomorrow, I would hesitate because I'm going to go, well, I already got one. I don't need another one. Do I want to invest in this book, or do I just go dig in the dollar bins for a while and spend $20 and go home?
Right. If you've been watching this show for long enough, you can go back and see the issue, which was like 2 years ago, where I pulled 2 of those books for 50 cents a piece out of a bin. So it happened
because they printed plenty of them. Like they're
that's the back of the truck.
Get back to it. So, yes, the truck. Yeah, it was up. So see, JJ watched that episode.
I was there.
It was the truck.
So, but it's 220. If in my head, I'm thinking of that book because this is how I feel about that book. I'm not telling hello Firehawk. This is not what I'm telling everybody else to do. But in my mind, this is how 9.8 220.
right? 220 low in 5 years. Throughout the 5 years, it'll be 220 low. Within the 5 years, it should be $1,000 high, because I think that they will do something with the product, because I see more and more people gravitating towards it. I've already seen cosplay with it. I can give you 1,000 reasons why I think within the next 5 years we're going to see Dr. Aphra. I don't know where. I'm not trying to tell you what show she's going to be in. We might not see her, but I think there's going to be enough of a liking. There's enough of a fandom for her.
See,
you know what I mean?
You mentioning like the cosplay, like that is what convinced me, is after hearing Mike Morello talk about Ahsoka cosplay, I eventually said, all right, I'm going to buy a Clone Wars 1. I'm going to pay $100 for one Raw, because he keeps telling me, and it's like, I don't know if this book's going to go down or not. So I just bought one for $100. Thankfully, I got a 9.6, the copy that I got. So that's my Clone Wars 1. Thanks to Mike Morello telling me Ahsoka cosplay.
If it's like that, if it's a book you truly believe in and you truly believe will be stable, you can reach a little bit.
You do know, like, to find this stuff, it's hard. You have to go in booms, and you have to, like, everybody's experience is different. So, like, but yeah, I think it at 75. Do I think 75 minimum right now is out of pocket for that book? No, I think that's a fair price for that book. But you better, but if you're buying it for $75, you better be pretty good at grading that book.
Yeah, you don't want to buy a fucking very good copy for $75, because you're just going to be kind of stuck with it.
And by the way, if you're not good at it, then go buy the third print or the second print, which is cheaper, and submit a bunch of those so that you
just out of curiosity, the last Raw on eBay, July 2nd, sold for $115.
Yeah, see, that's
on eBay. Best offer on $200. Don't know what what they accepted or whatever. $150 best. Like I'm trying to find auctions. $75 at auction on July 1st.
Okay, that's a fair price. That's a fair price for a book,
and it's not listed as being like low grade or like, hey, it's a very good. Like it's just generic. If you $75.
698, take a shot at for $75. But that's the most. That's the most I take a shot at it for. I wouldn't be paying $150 for a Raw Afro that hasn't been graded yet. I'll tell you that much.
No, well, you still get 3 for it.
For the 150, I would almost buy a 9.6. Just take my chances that it would stay stable or go up.
All right. Somebody asked after him, so let's see if we got another good question in here. Sorry, Wookie, I was having a little fun with you, but yes, I think the right price is. I mean,
9.6 is like 150. There you go. JJ Caller is 155.50.
I would just buy for 150. I would just buy the 9.6 and take your chances that it's either stable, which it probably would be, or it goes up.
Best offer 250, auction 167.50, $150 seems to be the price.
I got a 9.6.
I'm sorry,
I bought a 9.6 Dr. Afra about 2 years ago. I got it for like $70.
Yeah. You can find deals. Don't you want to get started on what I bought the second print of that book for, graded 9.8? $50.
That's even better.
From a major store that is also a delicious snack. I bought it for $50.
Cheetos?
I think crackers.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
anyway,
I was gonna say, okay.
You could say that you can make s'mores with. That would probably.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, yes, you can make s'mores.
Hey
man, I'm sorry. I wish I didn't sit out in the sun as much as I did, because I was
going to bring up the foreign ones too.
You went brain dead.
What foreign ones?
It says Vasquez says the foreign ones covered.
I don't know. Foreign, I don't get. I don't know the foreign market.
I need the Mexican to complete the run of all of them.
Yeah, but what happens when all you guys are trying to complete it? Then what does the price of the books do? Because I have a feeling Marcus is going to take it.
Yeah, I mean foreign collecting is a weird bag. I mean, we could have Robert Fordham on here, and he can probably tell many more stories than I can. But when foreign collectors look for, at least I shouldn't say the real. I can't think of another word. I guess the original foreign collectors. I guess I could put that. It's sets.
Dedicated. Say dedicated.
Yeah, dedicated foreign collectors. It's all about the set. Mm-hmm. If there's 23 country versions of this kind, that's what they're going for. They're going for the set.
I own one set.
But once they own the sets, a lot of them would sell the set after they owned it. So,
and that is more that's not from modern books for the most part. It's more from older books.
Yeah, I own one set. I got the Lost set.
I remember what it was. You said what you paid for that 9.6. My question is, do you feel that the 9.6 and 9.8 gap is going to stay the same, or do you don't think it's going to go back to expanding again?
Well, I think it might, but I'm just saying, as a safer bet, I would buy the 9.6 for $150 rather than buy a raw and I would take my chances that the 9.6 would go up as the 9.8 goes up.
Yep.
That's the trend that I can't ever sit down with. That's probably the one, like when you want to ask a question of me, that's the one I can't answer, because that's one where I gave up on, and I try not to old man it and go, back in my days, we only sold 9.8s and we threw everything in the trash. And they're like, how did you equip to 9.6s so quickly? And it's like, well, you can't fuck the system. If they're going to do it, they're going to do it. And I didn't feel it was funny business. I felt that whatever it is, I don't have to understand why 9.6s were closing the gap that much. I just had to know that 9.6s across the board were closing the gap. My biggest worry then is because I could never understand why. Like, I can theorize that it was people cracking and pressing. I can theorize that maybe people just don't care as much. I can theorize a lot of stuff. 9.8 prices went so high, but like the 9.6s got real high. What I can tell you is over years, we haven't seen the deflation in it. Like the deflation of a 9.6 has happened at a similar rate to the deflation of a 9.8 in the last 8 months. So like, is that a trend that's going to stick? I don't know.
Well, so you've heard, and I don't send enough books in to really know. You send in more than me. You've heard the rumor, so to speak, that they hammer more modern books more now than they used to, right? And grading.
Yeah, but that's not
I don't
true,
think so.
Yes. I think
that's why when I get into like a 9.6 or 9.4, I always look at the census first just to see, if there's more 9.6s than 9.8s, fantastic. If there's like 3 times as many 9.8s as there are 9.6s, there's probably going to be a bigger gap there.
Speaking of which, do you want to know the census numbers for Darth Vader 3?
Mm-hmm. Sure.
Let's do it.
How many 9.8s do you think there are in the census for cover A? Give a guess.
330.
What?
3,500. 3,500.
For the variant?
No, regular.
Oh, I'm sorry. Cover A. Oh,
10,
shoot. Yeah. 5,000.
3,638.
3,500. I was like so close. Wait, where you go like this? I was like,
said
come on.
2,500.
Yeah.
I thought I heard you say 25.
No, I said 3,500.
I thought you said 25. That's why. I thought it was 2,500. That's why. No, otherwise, yeah, I would have said, yeah, pretty close. The 9.6 is about half that at 1,732 for the cover A. The variant version, as you said, 9.8. How many do you think of that? Let's go back to what Jay just said, because I think he was close.
130 is what I think.
No. Go up
for the variant.
500.
The variant.
320. 310.
In between.
250.
In between. It's 419 copies for the 9.8.
Wow, that's a lot more than I thought. I was
9.6, 302.
Okay.
Pretty close.
I don't know. I don't know if that's the case. Like, is that a thinking now, Eric? If a 9.8 goes for 1K, the 9.6 should go for 500.
I mean, so I think that's the thing. I think so if it becomes $1,000 9.8, right? I think the gap will enlarge between the 9.6 and the 9.8, but I still think the 9.6 will go up.
Yeah.
It won't go down because there's going to be, as it gets higher, eventually it gets to a point, and it's probably actually over about $1,000 over, where I think a certain buyer gives up on the 9.8 of that book and looks to the 9.6, and then the 9.6 goes up. Yeah. I think that's what's happened with a lot of
things. To say half? Like, I don't think
that's
a crazy thought.
Yeah.
The floor should be half for 9.6.
This is what I always say, like, it's never one. The one thing I will tell you from my knowledge of in these markets and other markets too, the answer is never easy. It's never one thing. Yeah. Always multiple things. So you might be right that does drive it up, and at the same time, you have people 9.6, 9.8 cracking, and at the same point, you also got people whose mindsets are like, well, 9.6, 9.8's out of my price rate. I'll 9.6, and then I'll do it later.
I think it's a lagging statistic too, in the fact that, like, I think it will come. The gap will eventually start out huge, but I think it will close. So, like, if it's $1,000 9.8, the gap may be $700, but give it another 2 years, it may only be $500.
Yeah, and that's what I think it should be.
What I'm saying is for years before, I mean, I'm talking like a decade before that, almost, like, that wasn't the case. It was it was like a 1/3 gap, like the whole, like you could, like clockwork is like the difference between selling a CGC and a CBCS book. You know what I mean? Like, percentage always the same. That's how you price them. I mean, it just was forever.
Yeah,
they did kind of get close here for a minute, but they're expanding back to the original price too. I'd like to hit up late night comics question here. Is is it a crime that a majority of shows don't showcase the source material, artists, writers, etc.? Does anybody not understand what he's asking?
No, I don't know. I don't know. Are you saying like shows like these shows, or shows like on Disney Plus, like not spotlighting their creators?
Yeah, I mean, I assume he's talking to like Disney Plus, but
yeah, and I it depends on what it is. Once again, when you're a franchise that takes certain things seriously, or some people at least do, or
Disney
you're sold
Plus.
on Disney Plus. I think sure. I think you could take a little bit of creativity with it. Obviously, people have heard my opinions on different shows, but like
Marco has one opinion for Star Wars on that subject and one opinion for everything else. I think
true. I had an issue with Moon Knight, but compared to Miss Marvel, I don't have, because the core of the character is the same, right? Yeah. Like as long as you keep the cores the same,
and I think it's
Marvel and DC,
how attached you are to something too. Sometimes.
Yes. Well, but
I'm not saying just you specifically, but it's me. I'm the same way.
Right. Yeah. Very funny because tonight this topic came up with Sean, and the thing he was like because he's a Star Wars guy too, but he also likes Marvel, and obviously, and we're talking about DC, and hopefully Black Adam hits, because then like a bunch of things trigger for us, which is going to be very beneficial financially for us. But like the one thing I'll say, like Star Wars gives you a date for all of its stuff. Like it goes in a date. Where Marvel is like a 616 multi-universe thing. So like when you take those type of things, like you have a little bit more flexibility, right? So I just think it depends. As far as artists go though, like that artist thing, it's very tricky because some of the artists were ghost artisting stuff, or some wrote their contracts the way they do. And like, yeah, I hate some of the artists that they do. But like when you got people like Rob Liefeld takes a lot of credit for Deadpool, which if you want to really talk about what he did for Deadpool, he traced over fucking Deathstroke beat.
He changed a couple letters in Deathstroke's actual name.
Yeah. And don't forget too,
Wade Wilson became Wade Wilson.
The artist for the comic often gets paid. He's getting paid when he gets paid for the comic art. And that art then belongs to the publisher. And the publisher can sell that art or that design, I guess I should say, to whoever they want because they own it.
Yeah.
But if you bought a Picasso from Pablo, right? Hey, Pobs, what's up? Hand me that Picasso. Bought it for you.
Well,
yeah, but that's an original art. That's not, a comic.
Something to be reproduced.
It's like saying if I had a reprint of a Picasso, it would be more accurate.
Right.
Yeah, if you work for Nike, you design a pair of sneakers. They sell the sneakers. You don't get, royalties for the rest of your life if you work for them.
Yeah, whatever intern invented the Nike swoosh probably made no money from that.
No, but my point is this: like he doesn't either. Like once you sell it to somebody else, they have the rights to that.
You already sold. That's the thing. You've
been paid for your work.
You got paid.
Same thing. Yeah, you get paid for it. I understand that kind of sucks, and I understand some people were butthurt. But I think once again, oh, good, you're gonna get me talked about somebody who just died. So I don't know if I want to get into it.
No,
but like
there was get into it. Then.
There were artists on there saying like,
we're out plenty of different angles we could take. You don't have to go that way.
They were going for artist rights, and they weren't. They were just promoting that they were out there shilling their goods. Like that's the truth of it.
But realistically, the easy answer is the company. Disney is not going to give that credit or spotlight because then they start pointing royalties at people that they don't have to because they own the character. The stories that were written are now theirs. They don't want to spotlight that person because then they're almost via mission saying we owe you more money.
Julian, we actually talked about this. We talked about this earlier about the 9.6 crack to 9.8. That it offsets the numbers and
yeah, it can make it a little wonky.
Hey, what's going on, Kyle? Who else had a question? I'm sorry, D plus.
Mark Osler.
No, that was to say Disney Plus when we were talking about spotlighting creators.
Thank you for dropping this question.
I mean, it's another question, but
yeah,
too. I guess
mutants. Well,
there's one about women
before we can worry about mutant crossovers.
Oh man,
hey, Joe made it home in time for the end of the show.
Reprints, Star Wars, failure or bad investment.
I'm sorry, right there.
Oh, good, Joe. We were just talking about you earlier. Good. Good to see you, man.
But I went back to this question.
Should we tell them that there's actually a market for forging that 35 cent? I mean, it's legit. Like people have.
Yeah.
Like,
hey, go ahead. He's telling you the truth. Speak on it.
Yeah, I've actually seen restored copies graded where somebody changed like a 30 to a 35 or change that diamond thing to a square.
Are reprint Star Wars undervalued or bad investments? I got duped on a 35-cent variant of Star Wars 77 #2. Sorry to hear it. To an untrained eye. I thought I found gold, but the blank UPC. Yeah, that's the giveaway right there.
Yeah.
Go ahead, JJ. So as you're saying,
I was gonna say he's not the first. I mean, that's a common thing, especially when you're new to Star Wars and new to collecting. It's that to get that 35-cent Grail, people have forged that thing for years now. Like before I even collected.
I don't think Whitmans are undervalued.
Eric teasing future back issues episodes for you guys.
Yeah, we do. That's our next thing. So
but
I'm not gonna get much. But I probably shouldn't say it. I just threw our next fucking episode on the bus going, Whitman suck. By the way,
I didn't know you guys are doing that. I'll just say this much. Only by saying I don't know. So those early Whitmans, yes, probably not a good investment because there were so many, so many. But actually, there's some later Whitmans of some of the later books as you get into the teens and such that actually aren't terrible. But if you guys are going to cover it later, I'll save it for later.
Well, come on and cover it with us. We haven't tasted it yet.
Well, I could. I don't know.
Yeah, it's kind of a podcast almost.
Yeah, that's kind of what it is. Honestly, I got to thank Eric because he got me off my ass to do it. He's been asking me for a long time to do this shit, and like we work very well. Not too many rants, so I know some people get disappointed, but usually it's just like I said, kind of like this,
it's
like
good info.
Yeah, it's just an info chat that we talk about. He does a lot of research, and I'm lazy as shit and just go, well, this is how I remember it, and we make it work. Yeah. At least use the graphic. Okay, yeah, put up the graphic.
Oh, there's a graphic, fancy.
Well, no, we don't. Did I do the Whitman graphic yet?
No, you got the Mark Jewelers one still.
I'll use the Mark Jewelers one. I didn't do the Whitman graphic yet. I didn't load it in. So go to back issues. See, Eric tells me what to do, and he's right. Like I said, if anybody wants to create content, we really do try to help everybody out to create content. Yeah. Something that Eric helped out and wanted to do. So we've gotten. I care less about a damn Whitman book. I guess
Dom's kicking something around, but he wants it to be perfect. So,
I like to get the Hunting Fools #1s. I want that ultra rare. Was it the library edition Star Wars?
No, I'm not talking about the library. I'm talking about you wanting your show idea to be perfect.
Oh yeah. I have. Oh yeah, it's percolating.
Not the next goddamn thing you want to buy. That contest winner for the Venom design. What is that? Won like $200?
Because the Black Spidey was in what Marvel Age? It was just like a fan.
Yeah.
Going in like that person got screwed.
Yeah. Did too.
Well,
I'm between creating and this. Yes, I understand this, but Lewis, like when you talk to somebody like me about it, it's because it was so many years of a price difference. I know it's close, but like that's not. It didn't matter. Like I'm the one telling you at the beginning. Like, do you know how close it's razor thin between a 9.6 and a 9.8? And at the same point, telling you
price difference when you were going to sell it.
Price difference was such a huge gap, like so huge that like
that's not exclusive to comics either. You look at cards and grading; it's the same way. Everything. Like difference between a 10 and a 9.5.
And toys too. They have toys.
Yeah, because too many people they grade chase. They just want. They want to be able to say my collection. It's all 9.8s or nothing.
Like the grading, like see the foreign books that people are grading now. I don't care what grade I get in a foreign book because some of those foreign books are hard to come by.
Anyway. You'd be lucky.
Yeah,
especially older.
My Italian Spidey, I'm glad it got over a 9. It's over a 9. Good enough for me.
Well, I have the Italian Spidey too. I have to get that graded. I have one of those. Definitely.
Oh,
that's my favorite one. Thanks to Matt Weigel for giving me that one, telling me that one. He wanted to give it to me. I had to force money on him.
I got a couple of foreign first Hobgoblins, the Canadian and the Dutch or something like that.
That's a tough question to answer. I have no idea what the legit value of that would be.
Version Hobgoblin for my ASM collection, but I just don't want to pay for it.
I need an American version of the Hobgoblin. I'm a Hobgoblin fan. I love the Hobgoblin.
I just need my ASM run. I just don't want to pay that much for it. I want to find it for cheap. I feel I'll be patient.
I know. Look around. You might be able to get a good one. Hey, listen, if I find a lower grade copy that's graded, I'll buy it just to have for my collection.
Okay, let me ask you a question. Were they on scratch sheets or do you know how they were shown? Like was it like on an oversized piece of paper which had like written out panels, editing words,
insert colors. Like they'd have like a bunch of lines
the
that came out.
Is that the newspaper? That's the newspaper strips, right?
That's
Russ Manning's a newspaper.
Yeah, but didn't Mike? He had that. He had a whole collection of the first appearance of Boba Fett.
Oh no, I mean, there's originals out there.
Times, yeah.
Well, there's also a bunch of different versions of it too. So like there's the original submission, then there's editor touchback. Like there's a lot of stuff that goes into it. But $300.
There's slightly different versions for different publications too.
Yeah,
in some cases.
You're right. So it just depends on how much you're getting out of it, Wookie. But and yes, Kyle, he is a tracer. You know he's a tracer too. He is so right.
Like a tracer.
I care about a 9.8 grade.
Yeah, he just
said value 9.8.
Collectors that are just there 9.8 or nothing. It's just
actually wind, but they were framed, so you couldn't. All right, yeah. Feel free to DM me the pics. I'll look them over. The Blink PCs get redone. Yeah, I mean, I think like all in all, whatever. I don't think we're getting any more questions. So, what was this last sale for Vader 340? 9.6 was 115. Might depend on the book, but I think 9.6 gap is closing.
Yeah,
so again, like
right now, it's closer than it's been.
Yeah, it's closer than it's ever been. Like that is the one thing I think you'll see it too. With some of these 9.8 prices deflating. I don't want to say crashing or bursting because it's not true, right? Like bad stuff. Like the guy asked, what do I think about these? What do I think about collecting the runs for? Where's this question here? That my man
there's
Mark
plenty of 9.6 prices that are inflating to kind of catch up to some of the 9.8 prices too. Like I think it is getting closer to that half. Like we were talking before, I think the 9.6 should, at least in my personal opinion, I would see it at least half of a 9.8 value, where it used to be closer to about a third, if not less.
Yeah, less in some cases.
So long, like it's a $500 9.8, it's $100 for a 9.6. Like what?
Keys for 9.6s, if they had gotten out of price range, were probably 1/3. That's what.
What's funny? That's like the price a place would pay for a comic. Say if a comic book is like $500, and you bring it into a comic dealer to buy it, they'll give you like $100.
Exactly, yeah, because they need to be able to mark it up so that they can sell it for $250 to $300.
That's part of it. No, what people don't understand about buying too is like, let's say I buy this book from you on today. By the time I can find a buy, if it was so easy, by the time I have to find a buyer, the price might drop by a little bit. So let's say it's a $500 book.
It depends on the book.
Yeah,
there's certain books they're going to have a buyer for. They
yeah, of course, all that, but like. That's not always the case. Most of the cases, the books that people want to sell you aren't books that are like you're not coming across an AF-15 every day. So, I wouldn't invest in any. Is he actually like asking the like speculation? Like,
I don't know. That's more you guys.
Not any of the.
I've never been a huge X-Men collector. So.
Well, I love collecting just to collect them. Like, and add Extinction Agenda to that list too, because that was one of my favorite crossovers. But I don't think we're going to see that on screen if that's what you're banking on. If you just want a fun read, and plus these should mostly be kind of cheap. Mutant Massacre is a little bit more expensive because you got those early Sabretooth appearances, so that's going to bump it up a tiny bit. Inferno's going to give you a couple of Sinister appearances, so that might cost you a couple of bucks on a few, but most of them be very cheap, realistically.
Also, crossover events usually printed higher, right?
Yeah,
more of them. So.
Yeah, they are.
X-Men there's always been a very popular. Well, I shouldn't say always, but a good chunk of the run was very popular.
Look, if I was going to introduce the X-Men into the MCU, introduce a villain first, and then have the other X-Men come in. Don't just introduce the good guys first. Put the villain in first, and build around the villain.
I think it's not a bad idea for X-Men.
It depends how they decide to do it.
CBCS getting the same value as CGC? No. Booking great. This is really dropped the ball.
98% of the time, no. Maybe the only time I could ever see it is if you have a book that literally just released, and literally like you're the first book out of the door as a CBCS, and you can get it on the market somehow before a CGC book. You may get the same value for what that CGC sells for. Maybe
because I still think when somebody sees this, hey, CBCS sold for $200,
they're going to mark the price up.
CGC.
True.
Yep.
They're going to put that bump because.
Yeah, but 99% of the time, absolutely not.
It's perception.
It's just the way
it's just unfortunate. It is what it is.
But you know what? Some people like.
Again, that's not a comic exclusive thing. It's the same way in cards. If you have it graded by like an off company versus like a PSA or something like that, I've even seen it in collectible card games. Like you look at like a BGS or a PSA, 10 goes for less than a CGC 10, or CGC 10 goes for less. So even though supposedly CGC grades harder on those cards.
Wookiee fodder, that was a good pass. That would not have been a decent buy. That
what are you talking about?
Well, I'm looking at the pictures he sent me.
Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't look at them.
So the panels, sure, they probably were panels out of there, but those could have been finished panels that somebody. What I'm looking at, I mean, obviously, I got a picture. I'm not looking through the whole thing, but they definitely aren't first approvals. They aren't edited approvals. They aren't second print approvals. They aren't final print approvals. So $300 would be really a little bit pricey for that. They look
so
nice
they
frame.
technically could be just reproductions of
reprints.
Somebody cut it out of the newspaper and just put it in your
could be a facsimile of some sort.
Mm-hmm. So I pass it. Since we are doing questions, sure. Not questions on MCU. We're doing questions on Star Wars.
Yeah, why not? I love Captain Britain and the MI-13 for the read.
I have them all.
I think it would make for a great
series. I think they're leaning that way. They're leaning that way, at least with elements. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm hoping.
We'll see story of it. I don't know, but I mean, you have the Black Knight, and you have Blade, both coming, and
we can get the story. We get the goddamn vampire.
You might get elements of the story. They don't follow the comics that closely, so I don't know how much of that you'll really see. But, but the characters for sure.
As much as I preach
CGC wisdom,
do you understand CGC has completely shit the bed before? They have multiple times.
Followed by CBCS doing the same thing.
They crap the bed.
Or worse.
Hey, at least it's not PX.
Hey, hold my drink. Let me show you what I can do. And they fucking just like.
Remember when everybody's like, "Oh, the CGC wait times are horrible. Let's rebel and go to CBCS, and we'll go to CBCS, and their prices will never increase, and their wait times will never get horrible." Oh wait, yeah, they will.
Yeah, they just did.
Because invariably, when more people go to one over the other, guess what happens?
Yeah.
And CBCS never ramped up productivity or anything to make up for it. So what do you think was going to happen?
It ain't that long anymore. Number two, I'm talking about crapping bed. No, you guys are talking about wait times. You think that's crap? That's not crapping bed.
No, I'm not talking just wait times. It's the fact that they raised their prices when they said they wouldn't raise their prices.
The inner wall warps, I'll tell you real thing. CGC in the inner wall warps, that's crapping the bed, right? Okay, CG,
changing their shitty label to an even shittier label.
It doesn't matter. That makes no difference. I don't shit about any of that.
You'd be surprised. It makes a difference to a lot of people. I know you don't care, but
it doesn't make a difference to me because it still sells for a sell. So, but even when they did that, they had the trimming incident.
Trimming scares me.
Got away with that, the
autograph authentication. Of course, that was with Beckett, but the autograph authentication.
CGC had this where they put a pedigree out there, and a certain ponytail guy was approving all the stuff, and dude, the books were trimmed, and then he started saying nobody can talk about micro trimming, but you can, you absolutely can. I mean, it's hard, but you can. If you're the head grader, you should know. Then after that, they had the warped walls. What was the other one? Didn't they have the wall that slipped for a while?
Wasn't it about CGC? You're talking about CBCS.
CGC.
They had the CGCS books that they slabbed with no inner well.
No inner well slab. Yep, they had that. They had the non-slab inner well. They had all that, and you know what?
By the way, I have a Star Wars 1 sitting in one of those, and I'm super afraid to send it anywhere.
You know what CBC?
They never did. They fumbled the interception. They intercepted the ball, and then they fumbled it.
No, hold my drink. Hold my drink.
They let the goddamn situation. Every time.
Every single time. They put it, dude. Hey, before you leave Venom, there was one. Was the last one with CGC? Was it during the warp one? I can't remember which one was, or the no wall one. Whichever one it was, dude. You know what they did over at CBCS? They then had a slab where you could take the tabs off the top, open up the book,
slide it right out.
Take the label right out.
Take the label out. The label wasn't connected to the fucking well. You can take it out, take another fucking label, put it in. When you print yourself, give yourself 9/8.
Actually, with a little bit more work, you could take the whole comic out.
Oh yeah, you're right. You could take the whole comic out. You could have taken the whole comic out and replaced it with a different comic. People were doing that shit too. I mean, that's how bad that was. I mean, or what was the other one?
Or rivets. Remember rivet?
Oh, rip cases.
Cases.
And then CGC, what CGC do? CGC dropped the ball on something else, and then they did the Beckett buyout over at CBCS, and then they they took the books from Florida. Okay,
Yeah, that was just dumb.
the sense of this shit. They have books in Florida. They said, do not send any more books to Florida. Send them all to Texas from now on. We're going to finish grading the books in Florida. We're going to mail them all out, and then we'll start grading everything.
That's what I think. That's when all the Newton ring, fucking Newton ring. I think that's when
this is the Newton ring thing at CGC. So then they did that at the Beckett thing at CBCS. Well, guess what they did? They said, you know what? We're not going to keep two places open. We're moving the place in Florida to Texas. We're shipping all your books. Everybody who submitted there, we're shipping them all over.
Yeah, now we're going to move them to Texas, but don't worry.
All fucking books.
We won't lose anything. And our wait times won't go 3 times longer than normal.
Oh my God, they shit the bed.
Made no sense.
That was so fun.
Yeah. There were people that were getting their books like 18 months later after that move.
Dude, I know a guy, 2 years. I know a guy that got a book 2 years.
Yeah, straight up, it was forever.
Because it made no logical sense. You had a whole operation in Florida. Not every goddamn grader is going to move to fucking Texas for a job at a grading company. You know what I mean? I'm not relocating for this fucking job. Like,
I
don't recall how much they get paid, but I don't think it's a career job.
Yeah, that's all I'm saying. Okay, you did look. Yeah, no. They get paid. You can get paid decent for it. I mean, some people make careers. There's a lot of graders that are this. I mean, at CGC, I know 8 people who've worked there for 10 years. I mean, they make careers out of it. So
yeah, well, I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is that you're going to uproot your family.
He's saying they're going to move.
That's what I'm saying as far as career job. Like if you're
going to move 3 states over
do you move?
Oh, look at that,
Eric! You would have crossed the Gulf of Mexico to. I'll take that commute.
Well, I mean, I'd move out of Florida.
Yeah, you just get a seaplane, you just fly that shit across every day.
Take the ferry. Is there a ferry that goes there?
I'm looking for a General Franklin Kirby. Sorry, I'm going back to our action here on your list on Wednesday.
I say last Commando.
Yes, I am doing Commando. See, I knew JJ would get it.
I get it.
So major.
He's saying that would be the only thing that would be like some sort of major grading integrity cock up by CGC.
They had that when Ponytail was over there. It definitely was a.
I think they both had it at some point.
Yeah, they both.
Oh, they both. He started the other fucking place. So it was fuck.
I'm saying when they have. That's what we were saying is when CGC has one, then CBCS has one. Even when he wasn't working at the same place, he had. What was the thing that CGC had a controversy with, and then Beckett had a controversy with the authenticity of autographs or whatever?
I can't even remember.
I can't remember what CGC's problem was, but then immediately, literally a couple months later, CBCS had the autographs thing.
Yeah, was it about the autograph thing where
wouldn't like authenticate unless they had a person there, but then CBCS would verify after the fact.
Yeah.
And then they changed it to like, well, now we're not even going to change the color of the label. They're all going to be yellow because people don't like red labels. I got a red label after the fact signature confirmation on my monstrous one because I just did. I just got it sent in, and so that's the only CBCS book that I have, and it's red label.
I don't know, man.
Grade this book,
Calvin's.
I don't think you can. You can't grade that phone book.
Can't.
You need to send that to like AFA. They'll put that in like a toy box.
Our Calvin Scott loves Jackson. I'll tell you that, and they keep doing more and more, and it's only a matter of time. Yep. I feel like that's another one that like Tiki whatever he might get a hold of that.
If you get a hold of a good copy at a good price, I don't think it's bad.
Speaking about Jackson,
what, the one in 4,099, 999?
I think anytime you have, and Valance is the same way. Like remember when Valance disappeared, and now he's back, right? I think anytime you have these minor characters that return in current canon,
it means it's somebody's favorite out there.
Yeah, it means somebody's pushing that in the Star Wars universe.
Yeah.
Whether or not it'll last forever, I don't know. But
Jackson has a statue coming out, so they're pushing the agenda for Jackson, and he has a toy, so a Black Series.
I mean, Calvin has not been quiet about Calvin. It's what Hey,
Lose
this
the
is
L.
It's America, dude. Calvin over.
There's no L.
Calvin over here, man. All right.
We just insert the L for him. It's okay.
All right. We put all type of stuff out. We call it
Change it to
Myers.
an I-7A.
Ford. There's no S on the end of Ford. It's Ford Motor Company. But we add S's all the time. I'm more adding L's. But yeah, no, Jackson. I mean, he's popular among a lot of people. He keeps showing up. So
Part of it's nostalgia too.
The Bucky O'Hare. That's what I'm curious.
Bucky O'Hare, exactly.
Because when are they going to start pushing it? They look like the same goddamn rabbit.
Hey, Bucky O'Hare had a cartoon. At least.
You know who he looks like? Remember when Bugs Bunny became Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde?
Yeah,
kind of like that.
Why haven't they done
Star Wars? A Jackson.
Oh,
I'd probably watch it.
You'd say something they will. You see something they will.
Money.
Yeah.
Star Wars is probably like, we want this much for a license.
Yeah.
CGC's like, no.
Well, you know what?
They're
I
going to
would
bring
love a label. Those labels, custom labels on Star Wars. It'd be kind of cool.
That'll be the next Hasbro Pulse fucking things I'm going to put out. Jackson ears. Everybody, you can buy these $200 Jackson green ears. That
if we can get 8,000 backers in 22 hours,
They don't need that. They do that at Disney already. They have Ahsoka ears.
They really got
the bonus. Will give you the nose. If we hit a certain threshold, you'll get the bunny nose too.
Exactly.
The whole mask.
They really
it'd be kind of cool. You get like different labels. That you have an Ahsoka label, like anything with Ahsoka in it. You get the comic and you get the Ahsoka label. Anything with Boba Fett.
Maybe it's just me. I never cared for those in anything. I don't know. Just because one thing I don't like about it is then the information gets flipped to the back and it messes with my OCD.
Yeah, you're right. You want all the information in the front when you look. Yeah, that's true.
Well, they also stand out because then they're weird.
Yeah,
I've never.
But you notice if you don't ask like certain like the label, like first appearances of characters, when you send it out to CGC, they don't put the first appearance of that character on the front.
Even when you do ask, they don't even put it on there.
Okay.
Well, that's because people try to manipulate it too much.
Yeah.
Well, no, I'm thinking of when I sent in my Kanan 1s. Kanan 1, I sent in the first print, the second print, and the 1 in 25. Yeah. I think the first print came back with first appearance of Kanan, blah, 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 like the whole crew. And then the second print just said first appearance of Sabine Wren. It's like, it was weird. Like they just put one name on the second print. I'm like, it's the same book you graded at the same time.
Okay, so no, this is why. Do you want to know why? Because in the database, so what they used to let us do in the CGC databases when we were filling stuff out, depending on what option we chose for the book, you could put in special, like add-in notes, stuff with title, like first appearance and stuff. The problem is that some people would double or triple enter. So, like, if you said like Kanan 7 and you did the variant and you didn't do the regular cover, you had to enter the variant in. And then when you entered in the variant, you entered in the notes, what, like, hey, by the way, this is the first appearance of so-and-so, X and Y, Z. Sometimes those people wouldn't add in the right shit. So, like, if you didn't fix what they were adding in down there, then you get.
Well, yeah, I did. I mean, I put it in, but maybe they don't care. They just,
no, you probably just don't care.
Fucking yeah, huh?
There's no Star Wars custom label. Star Wars down, Vader down 11.
Yeah, I was thinking when they were talking, when you guys were talking Jackson, I was thinking of the one.
That's the rarest Jackson cover.
That's the first one that went in my head.
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot of money.
Yeah, that's where it is. So then you got to check your drop down menus all the time too. But then when it prints out at CGC, they don't let you submit those anymore like they used to. Because it used to go, we used to get to put on labels. But then people took advantage of that too. You know, you can't have nice things. I don't know if you guys know this. But you can't have nice things because douchebags will always ruin it. Like putting stormtroopers on your front porch. So
start writing in things like first full appearance.
Oh, you know what would have been funny? Imagine somebody was in that stormtrooper outfit and they sat there to try to catch somebody. They just sat there.
What, from the news?
I know. Like that would have been funny. He would have caught up. The guy would have had a heart attack.
Yeah, I mean, like the first that, like, I can't wait. This is the one thing. Like, I honestly hope the market's always stays healthy, but like these inflations are perfect because I can't wait till shit like first full gets just kicked in the nuts and thrown out of here. I'm done. Anybody who says first full, like that's, you're gonna start fights. Like that's it.
So in pickups today, I got
pickups. Go ahead, JJ. What do you got?
Oh, joking.
I have a lot of stuff.
Save it for next week.
We
already put it all on IG.
I do.
I don't think CGC is that lazy. To be honest with you, they do well. They're becoming more lazy, but they did hustle hard really early on. Diamond's situation is Diamond. Really? We get to that. They got too big, maybe. And then when they did, I mean, they're the Vince McMahon of fucking comics, right?
I don't know that it was even too big. I think they coasted too long, if that makes sense.
No,
right?
I think
take it for granted. Maybe I don't know what the
no. Because what they ended up doing was when they started buying out all the regional people, all the regional distributors, then they moved everything to the Wednesday one day order thing.
I don't want it.
The problem with it was they got too big and they couldn't handle that anymore. And
think so?
Instead of keeping up all their sectional regionals, yeah, they should. It should have stayed. If they want to be an umbrella company over the regionals, that's fine. You could have done that, but they didn't. And then going through it, start falling off. But also, too, the industry changed because who gave a shit what your book came out back in 1986? What grade it came when you got it? Who gave a shit?
We don't need it. We
Nobody.
already love Darth Vader. There's the only place to go is down. So need the show for Darth Vader.
You know what?
Yeah, I don't know.
Don't get to see what you did. Now
Darth
Tom's about to
Vader-
get started.
I want to hear what GG had to say on this.
On what?
Was
On the
to-
Diamond? No, I was shaking my head to the Darth Vader series thing.
I would say if they was to do a Darth Vader series, you have to do it right with him going after Jedi.
We don't need it.
You know what? We don't need it, but they're gonna give it to us.
Don't do it.
No, I don't want. That's what I'm saying. I don't want it. We don't need it.
I have a sneaking suspicion that
toys. It's clearance toys. That's what they're giving us. You keep saying, but then they're gonna give you clearance motherfucking toys, dude. We don't.
But I don't need Darth Vader because I already know We already have enough Darth Vader story. I already know his story. I know where it started. I know where it ends. I already know his story. You don't need to give me anything in the middle because it's gonna end up being pointless. The only thing you could do is fuck something up. So give me characters you haven't yet expounded upon. Give me more Inquisitors. I'm still curious about them.
Give me the characters. Give me not Ochi, but give me the characters around Darth Vader, and then I can see more Darth Vader in it. But
give us an Ochi series.
I don't need him.
I'll take an Ochi series.
No,
Marco has a stamp of approval on it.
No. I don't care to know how he died in the desert. I don't care.
There's no goddamn way you're getting that.
You know he's gonna die anyway, so it doesn't matter.
What are the three most?
How about a Valen series? What do you think?
Yeah, that's what I mean. I want more of characters.
I want him to do something with Valance besides comics. Because one character has never appeared outside of comics.
Something different.
I think
40-some years.
Let's push it. Let's get Disney. Let's do Valance.
Julin, am I saying this correctly? To Julin, is that what you're going?
Ju.
Oh.
Julian. I think it's Julian, but with a hyphen.
Screwing it up. Well, now you guys gave him 4 different things. So I mean, they could say no, you weren't saying my fucking name right. And I'd try again, but now, okay. What 3 most important first appearances for Star Wars?
Well, you could just put it phonetically and how we would say it.
I don't know if the back.
Moving on from the name. The question
is, what's the question?
What are the 3 most important first appearances for Dark Horse comic?
Well, you were reading it in your head. You're not
I wasn't saying out loud. I'm sorry. Lost Son and a lot of it. All right. Well, I think currently, obviously, Thrawn's got to be on top of the list because he's coming. We know he's coming, right?
Mm-hmm. He's in canon. The other 2 aren't. Well, Revan kind of. But.
Kind of is, yeah. Got to get rid of Crate. Crate's done there.
I would say, I mean, I guess if you're only looking at, are we only looking at like Sith or Empire characters? But I mean, obviously Ahsoka, right?
Yeah, I think Ahsoka's still got to be in there, right?
It has to be. She has to be.
But I don't know. I've never been a big pusher of the Crate thing. The Crate thing is one thing I think will never happen in canon.
I love Crate, but
I love the character. I'm not knocking the character. I'm just saying it's one of those things that if they bring that to canon, it's going to be like something similar to Dark Crate, but you'll never see actual.
I still think we could. I still think there's room if they give us a good Voss.
You know who it is? You know who everybody forgets all the time, and not everybody does, because there's a lot of people who don't, and that's why the book's. But if Darth Bane,
Bane,
Bane.
When you look at this list, if you're not going Thrawn, Bane, like especially if we're looking on the dark side of it, like I think it's wrong because they're
Malgus.
Yeah,
No,
I still like Bane.
No,
you get the rule of 2. Like it's very
invented the whole thing.
very important. Like in the whole
Lopez screaming about Plagueis, I'm like, yeah, I get it, but Bane, like you have to have like it's Bane. Not only that, but there was not a rumor at the normal rumor mills, but there was somebody who at one point said, you know, what would be interesting is if we did a story, and this was at like if we did something on Bane, we should have something on that, which means they pitched Bane already.
And Maul's up there. As far as, I mean, the problem with Maul is that's a muddied first appearance in a little bit, but
did you get Deadly Venoms?
Oh my man, Bane, yeah, Bane's it. Like Bane is, we will get more.
And Bane's been, I mean,
we had to get rid of
Bane's in canon, and Bane's been pretty much used in canon more or less in a roundabout way. Yeah, Samurai Darth Bane.
Time.
Look,
I still want to see Quinlan Voss.
What would you rather see?
Like Quinlan.
And there's enough Bane story. There's enough Bane area where they can rewrite new stuff and not really screw up the legacy, right? Like you can. There's a lot of room to improve and work on Bane. But there's also a stronghold of rock that they have in Legacy. All right, go ahead, Dom. I'm sorry. Go.
What would you rather see? You know, would you rather them really push more of like the underworld stuff? I make really the really dark underworld, or more of the dark times with the Sith, and they go way back before the Banes and the.
I mean, can't you do both?
You could, but
you could do both.
But I don't think
only have one, which
has that capability to focus on on a good underworld stuff.
A multiverse, and then like a kids show, and then like
no. If you could only pick one, what would you rather have? Underworld done right, or go back to the origins of the like.
I'd rather have Sith, just because we've in a roundabout way we've seen Underworld.
Yeah, but they didn't do it right.
I kind of want to get away from the Skywalker timeline.
Well,
so that's
you could argue they didn't do it right, but in a way, Mandalorian is kind of Underworld.
It is
in a way. I mean, at least as far as what we were promised. So I'd rather see, because you haven't seen the origins of the Sith type thing. So if you're gonna do that, I'd rather have that.
Are we seeing like a planet of the Sith? Like what are we talking about? The Sith? Are we seeing like, what's his name?
Let's say. I mean, let's go back to Bane and say Rule of 2. You see the rise in Darth Bane and the legacy of the Sith. Or
just before Darth Bane he made the Rule of 2. To see how crazy it was. Like just before it phased.
I don't think they'll ever do that. That's messy, but I'd like for them to, but I don't think they'll ever do it.
I'd like to see the Sith Hunters, like the whole group that fighting each other to get on top, and that's when Bane said, "You know what? Rule of 2."
Yeah, that's like the clan thing. Yeah, where you get them in clans.
Yeah. I think I'm more thinking about characters we haven't seen, so that's why I'm
almost done with Ventress. And
I don't know. I want to see more about Ventress personally, but I still haven't listened to her book, so that's on me.
Them try something new, make it work. Like I want them to see them make Thrawn work, and then when you make Thrawn work, and then when you make Bane work. Then you can go and like because of Dark Disciples, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't
gotta listen to it. Maybe I'll start it next week.
Yeah, I don't want you going that route till
they want to see live action episodes of Palpatine killing Plagueis. I can just imagine that he's going to bed, he's taking a shower, he's just chilling there. He's like, when I get up in the morning, I got this whole empire I have to take care of. He goes to
Is he gonna stab him with a
as he's sleeping?
Almost a French person.
I'm not going to try a French accent because I'm going to fuck that shit.
I don't know if that is.
Marco's bad enough with pronunciations. We'll throw accents in there.
Bonjour.
No, I mean, it doesn't have to be too dark. That's what I'm saying. It could just be like...
I can do a pretty solid Scottish and Russian if I'm not thinking about it too much, but we're not doing that.
Yeah, they are.
I can do some gibberish. I can do some gibberish talking. It sounds like a real... conversation.
My wife gets pissed at me because sometimes I'll flip into doing an accent and I'll just keep talking that way for like an hour and just not stop, and then she'll just get mad. And I don't know, I can't help it sometimes.
You ever do a language and it's like you're just making up the language, you're talking gibberish, and people think you're talking something?
I was watching Jedi today and I'm doing all the fucking lines for an Ewok, and I'm like, I have no idea what I'm saying, but I'm doing all the Ewok lines from the show. Like, I know what this means. Like, I don't know what that means, but I'm fucking saying it along with Wicket.
Mine was Lord of the Rings.
The deal with Asherad Het. Deal with Asherad Het. In Sharad Het is you would have to get it. You'd have to get you. You would have to somehow. They'd have to do what they did with Thrawn, and you'd have to have fans push for that. He asked when Craig.
I feel like we had our if they really wanted to do those.
Yeah,
I feel like they had their chance.
Yeah, and that's even muddier than Thrawn, because I mean, what got Thrawn back in too was also you had the creator of that character involved in redoing it for canon.
Well, that's what Dave said they're gonna do now. If you want,
shit, Marv, I literally said this to my wife.
Who's the creator of Het, and will they
sound
even
like
care
they're
to
speaking Filipino? Like they sound like my mom and my aunt's talking.
Big enough check.
They do.
What about the Sergeant Creel? And the
I like to see Creel. I've said we go all the way back to what was the segment we used to do? Never Tell Me the Odds or It's a Trap.
Yeah.
I've always wanted to see more Scar Squadron.
There you go.
Oh,
yeah.
If you give me a Scar Squadron show, I'd be a happy man.
You know, I don't think it's such a bad idea, Lewis. We could go forward. I just think, unfortunately, I think they need to go forward past the Skywalker.
Forward gets tricky because then you start pigeonholing where you can go, depending where you pick up the story. Like you jump ahead 20 years, you've now set yourself up to limit what you could do in between, because now you have to meet that endpoint. Once you do that, that's why I think they were tentative with Mando, saying we're going to go 5 years after Jedi. We're not going to go far out because we don't have to worry about going too far out.
How about this? The Mandalorians is such a great, group to have, and you can do stories great with the Mandalorians because they had a lot of Mandalorian stuff in the past, and now they're moving forward. What about if you do a future show, where the Empire uses Mandalorian armor on the troopers because after all the Mandalorians are gone, 100 years, and make a story and have the Empress have to build different characters, but
it gets too tough though, because I think the interest of the Mandalorians is that they are limited at this point. There are not a lot of them. There's not a lot of Beskar out there. That it is a rare thing at this point. That's what makes them more unique and makes them more interesting. So for there to be a ton of them later, or them to try to expand
just the armor, they're able to duplicate the Beskar.
But that's what I mean. But then you're just going to have a bunch of stormtroopers now that have more indestructible
I don't see
armor.
it.
It's take away. It's not going to make the story.
I don't know that would be that much different than the current era of Mandalorians. I guess is my point.
Yeah, you want to keep the Mandalorian still special.
Plus we'd have too many Phasmas running shiny armor everywhere.
They ruined that character.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
But it's too with the past. You can always go through it. Right, 40,000. I mean, look at how long it's taken the sequels already, right? When did the last sequel come out?
A couple of years ago,
2019, I think.
2017. 17?
No,
19.
19. I think.
19. 2000, yeah, 19. Because the same year Endgame.
15, 17, 19.
Yeah, 19 too, right?
The next 3 years to that type of stuff. A lot of it's still going through the same thing.
I mean, so when you talk about going forward, past the sequels, there's only been one property that they did, and they did it out of canon, which was Visions, right? But I think they did it well. The stories like the Ninth Jedi, that worked, at least for me.
I like the Ninth Jedi.
I always argue that some of the best stuff is not some of the best stuff, but some really entertaining stuff is the non-canon stuff they did, especially when they would do the Yoda Chronicles or Battle whatever. That's animation, but why not do that?
That's my thing. If you're going to do it that way. Make it non-canon, and then guess what? If it's a success, if it works out well, let's bring it into canon.
Yeah, figure out a way to work it in. But for now, just say.
I got a feeling Ronan is going to make his way into canon because they're pushing that character.
Be.
That's got to be Ruben's got this stick of Rey is just not a good stick, bro. Nobody really wants Rey Skywalker to be a thing for.
Oh, I mean, I think so. To me, I feel a lot like I do with these Skywalkers. It's just I had 3 episodes of Rey or 3 movies of Rey. I don't need a whole lot more Rey. She's a fine character. I don't have any problem with it really, but
I didn't have any.
Again,
I got nothing. No
just like
problem.
Luke Skywalker. I had 3 movies with Luke Skywalker. I don't need that much more Luke, to be quite honest.
Do you want Cad Skywalker? Do you want, like?
I want to see Luke.
No, I don't want like a whole legacy of Skywalkers. That's what I'm saying. Like I
want to see young Luke's Force Ghost, helping a younger Jedi that down the road, because his Force Ghost showed up in the comics.
You already have that. It's CGI Luke from.
Yeah.
Grogu. There's your answer. You got it.
There you go.
The problem with Rogue Squadron is they don't even know what Rogue Squadron is, bro. That's the problem with Rogue Squadron.
Yeah, no, we're not getting that.
What that shit is. They don't know. If you've ever heard them talk about it, they don't.
Shit, you know what?
Yeah, and Click My Vid's got a point. They already did. Well, like you said, they already did it. Like Top Gun, It's been long enough. If you haven't seen Top Gun yet, you missed your window. But yes, they fucking did the trench run. Their big mission was a goddamn trench run.
Take the best writers and the best way and start making quality TV shows and do the TV shows and do big events in the movies. Instead of trying to make movies for everything, just make all TV shows, get the best writers and the best everything. Because look at all the shows that are killing Star Wars. Stranger Things. Boys, all these shows.
I wouldn't say that. I mean, how do you define killing? Viewership?
They could have broken that shit. I told you guys last night I was watching that second episode of Stranger Things, and that shit didn't need to be 2.5 hours, or they could have broken it up because it felt like I was watching Return of the King. I'm like, wait, is it over? Nope. 2 days later, is it over? Nope. We're going further. Is it over? Nope. We're going to. It's like
me and my wife are going through the video.
Did you have the scene where different people kept coming in the bedroom with everybody with a smile on their face?
Max! Hey, Max! He's in the hospital. Anyway,
hey, look, I didn't watch. I didn't even watch the new season yet, but I heard it's really good.
Well, so you got to think too. Stranger Things has been 40 episodes, 10 episodes a season. Am I right on that? I think.
Close.
Yeah, I don't know. So. That's not that hard to produce 40 episodes.
No, that's also a fair point
of quality episodes.
Yeah, apparently over at Disney it is because anything over 6 becomes a problem. So
well,
but it's not just 6. You're doing 6 amongst a framework of fucking 9
of a whole universe,
other things,
and also too, there's more margin of error in a show like Stranger Things because you don't have to work inside such constraints.
Yeah,
in Stranger Things, you make your own universe.
They're making their own rules and their own.
But this is what I'm saying, Deadly Venoms. You shouldn't. This isn't because they do listen. I mean, the perfect example is Rose Dawson being Ahsoka. They'll listen, but you can't do this. I give up and just whatever it is. I'm going to say, okay, thank you for feeding me porridge. Like, no, you have to say like, hey, I appreciate that, and you have to say in a way too that doesn't sound, cynical to them or like that you're just being a troll. Like, hey, man, you guys did promise us this, and you're not delivering. That's what you got to say.
And that is Marco's misconception, where everybody thinks he's ranting because he hates everything. It's not. It's just the problem is that you see that everybody, all the way the fandom is, Disney is putting out stuff, but I think they're a little bent back because of all the negativity that's been going on, which is really aggravating, and it has a lot to do with the negativity too. Look what happened with the Obi-Wan series. It could have been so much better. It was good, but the writing could have been better, and the negativity they're getting. So every time they put out a series, now they have to think about they're not hitting anything out of the ballpark.
I think no. Time out. Go ahead, JJ.
I was gonna say too much in the bubble sometimes. It hasn't been a lot of negativity for Obi-Wan. It's actually been pretty successful.
Yes,
it's been a very positive, for the most part, very positive reviews, and it's been actually a big financial success for them. It's their most watched show on Disney Plus.
I actually think that that's part of the problem is what I'm saying. Like you're saying it's negative. What I'm saying is it's not the truth. It's very positive. And unfortunately, I think some of it's like a fake positive, right? Like I think
I think it's just different versions of. I don't think it's fake positive.
No.
I think it is. No. I think some people are just going to go like,
no.
Not my Hondo.
Even Captain Jack Sparrow is Hondo.
I'm not against Johnny Depp. Don't get me wrong. I'm not anti Johnny Depp, but no, I don't want
Johnny Depp hasn't been
fucking
Amber Heard as Hondo.
No,
Tim Burton directs Star Wars Hondo. The only way you're gonna get that one.
I think part of the problem is we're getting caught up in the fact that we are all of a certain age. We're all of a certain age where we know the original trilogy, but the people that are actually being hired to work in television and movies these days are much younger people. That's just the nature of the business. They're not hiring old heads to write Star Wars for older Star Wars fans. They're hiring younger people to write for a new generation. And when I say younger people, I'm talking about people in their 20s and 30s.
Yes.
Like that's not young, but it's young to me because my ass is now in my mid fucking 40s. So I feel
52
old.
in October. So
I guess I'm saying get away from the Skywalker saga then and get into new stuff.
What I'm saying is the people who are working on it, they only know of Skywalker like almost secondhand. Like their movies were the prequels. You know what I mean? Like they're of a different generation. They're of a different mindset than what we have and our expectations.
And I think, to be honest, like from a whole fandom perspective of it, it's very schizophrenic. I mean, I think Disney's kind of in a damned if you do, damned if you don't situation.
There's that.
Because everybody's like, I don't want Skywalker stuff anymore. Well, what's one of the worst performing live action movies that had Solo, which had nothing to do with Skywalkers for the most part?
Oh, well, except for Mary Skywalker, but it's also that's saying that.
Well, you doesn't marry Skywalker in that movie.
No, the whole fact is that Solo really took a hit.
Saying that once again.
The whole director thing, it took a hit. It got a lot of bad press coming out.
Yeah, you're not telling the story of what happened with that. They did 1 month of promotional. They
made mistakes. Marketing the movie, and they pushed it out too soon. But my point is still, I'm not even talking about the performance wise. Just look from the reviews of it and other things else, where they were like, "Oh well, I don't like this movie because it didn't have enough Jedi in it or whatever." And the same thing with Rogue One. There was a lot of people when Rogue One came out. There was a lot of people like, "I don't know if I want to watch a Star Wars movie that doesn't have like the Force or Jedi in it." I don't know. That's just not for me.
I never heard a bad word when Rogue One came out. I never heard one bad word of it.
I did.
So, yeah, but you live in Indiana. People are.
I live in New York City.
I
heard a lot of. You know what? Listen, I enjoyed Rogue One. I'll be honest with you. The best.
Yeah, I love Rogue One.
But
except
with Solo,
for Gullet.
Solo, they didn't do the promotion right. They pushed it out, but you had the bad reviews with The Last Jedi. The fandom was split in half. That was one. Two, you also had Infinity War that came out a few months before. So the promotion was with that. People, it was like so much at that time. Solo, they should have put Solo in December. It shouldn't have been put in March.
Well, they had it in December. They moved it up.
They moved it up to May.
They shouldn't have moved it.
They should have moved it. They should have left it in December. It might have been. It did well into December time.
I think would have done it. I think Dom has a very fair point. It is a lot of it with the box office. It is timing, and that was poor timing in their part. Apart from all the delays and all the fucking history they had with the changing of directors and all that, to rush it out, I'm saying, really hurt it.
There's that perception out there that it wasn't a terrible movie somehow. But it's not. It's a
good movie. It wasn't that bad. It's not great still because there's still a lot of dumb shit.
But it's fun. A lot of characters that they introduced that they can make spin-offs. But what are they doing? Beckett.
I still wanted to see more of that story to be told.
Yes.
When it was done, I still wanted more.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
was it stupid how he came up with his name when they got, you're by yourself. I'm going to call you Solo. That was some dumb shit. That was unnecessary.
Look at Beckett. I like to see Beckett in earlier times doing things. I would like to see Enfys Nest with the gang. I want to see that.
You did. You got Flag Smasher in the Winter Soldier show. It's the same thing.
Yeah, same character.
You had a whole bunch of rebels there.
True. Yeah, but she was on super steroids.
Well, yeah, that's where her story took her.
There you go.
JJ, so
and look at as far as like new stuff. Look at the High Republic. I mean, we've loved the High Republic. Don't get me wrong. I do love the High Republic, but I think it's been fairly well received. But there's also a large chunk that has not liked it at all.
Exactly.
There's
so I mean, you're going to get in the situation of fans want stuff from the Skywalker saga, and certain fans don't want stuff from the Skywalker saga, and that's the way it's always going to be.
Well, I think most of the fans that hate it.
What I don't understand is how just with all they have, they can't seem to exclude people who are like, these people are just trolling you. There's a certain group out there that if you do anything, they're just going to troll you for it.
Yeah. That's
true. They see that somehow as somebody who at one day would or at one day was a fan of Star Wars. It is not true.
They are not. They have never been. That's not your fandom. They have never. You have these live events to see your fandom, and it's not these people. You don't have people at Celebration booing, screaming at like Rose Tika or saying what SJWs or all this other stuff. Or like,
I think. Do you think that influences their choice of creativity though?
They wrote a memo out and they told what's her name that when she gets over there that you're going to see this. But the truth of the matter is like they said from the fans, toxic fans, those aren't fans. And then they always every year are like, Celebration's so crazy. There's no toxic fans here. Well, you want to know why? Because they're not. They're trolls, and Disney hasn't figured out.
An internet troll's not spending money to go to fucking Anaheim to go to Celebration to go and shit on everything because you can stay at home and shit on things for free. You're just going to be shitty.
That's what I'm saying. Like they still haven't figured that shit out. They haven't figured out like all the stuff Dom's talking about, like the bad reaction to.
I think they have though. I don't know. You say that though, but where has that altered what they're doing?
What do you mean?
Like in actual content, where has that altered what they're doing? Where have they said, well, we got to appease the trolls, so we're going to do this?
Well, no, it's the trolls. But think about it. You see the negative view. I'm sorry, Margo. You see the negative view.
Go ahead. Sorry, Dom.
I'm sorry. The negative view that Reva got from the get go.
But I don't think they didn't adjust their content.
I know. I'm just saying.
Done.
Go ahead.
Once they pick a character and they pinpoint that character that they don't like, they're not going to like it. And that's what's the sad thing is. That's why the lightsabers not selling anything on that character. They don't care about it. And that's the problem.
No, it's not. You just tune them up. This is what it is. Hey, I don't hear what you're saying, Dom, because all the stuff you were saying, like most of the stuff I hear it through you. I don't like because I don't pay attention to that nonsense. And that's the problem. But Disney does because there's a Vanity Fair article where Disney's telling their fucking actors, by the way, there's these toxic fans in there.
Is that not a reality though? There are toxic people that are going to go after.
It is a reality.
That's not who's acting them is toxic. No. That's not. It's troll bots, and it's it's a certain.
Okay, well, it doesn't matter whether or not they're bots, fans, or whatever. They're preparing that actor to say that there will be some toxicity in some form coming at you.
Or no, bot or.
And I don't fault Disney for doing that.
No, I'm not saying that you, JJ. I'm not. That's not where I'm not. You're not listening to what I'm saying. They're saying it's toxic fans. Like there's a group of Star Wars fans who are extremely toxic and are doing this. Where if you look at most. And this is how I know, because when you had Chuck Wingo doing it, they looked at it. He actually hired an independent company to look at where the toxic comments were coming from. And guess what? The majority, over 63%, were bots. And they were not bots that were produced in an area that had an IP code of anywhere in this country. Okay. And number two, the rest of the people that were out there weren't, when they were looking into it, were trolls that weren't just trolling him and weren't just trolling Disney, but any article that popped up with a certain thing, anything like that. Those aren't fans of Star Wars. You have to say, listen, whenever you do it, you're going to get trolled. Everybody gets trolled. Fuck, I get trolled, dude. You're going to get trolled by toxic people. That doesn't mean they're...
I don't think it's only just focusing on the trolls. I think the other part...
I don't see where that affects their content, though.
No, I know. Well, you can't. I mean, there's only so much you can do with the content. You come up with a plan, like Dom said. You come up with a plan. They got to execute that plan. They can't change on the fly. You can't go 2 episodes into Obi-Wan and the the fans don't like it. Let's change the show. The show's fucking filmed. It's done. They're going to show what they're going to show.
Where I will tell you they do it. Go read some of their novels when they drop 1 page whatever for no reason, and then they pat themselves on the back and say, "We know we're going to make people mad, and the toxic fans are going to hate
all that shit." No, but what I was more getting towards was like the Hasbro Pulse with the Reva lightsaber. Like Dom had saying, they pinpointed this character they want to focus on. But I think that's where you find yourself in trouble because you're now guessing if the fans are going to react and connect with your new character. You have to let your new character just build before you push product because you may hope that it's going to work. Like, I guess they felt like, well, with Grogu, we were too late. But, dude, I'm sure they sold plenty of Grogu shit a year later. They didn't have the Grogu stuff ready to go. Like when Grogu hit, they didn't have it ready to go. That shit was like a year later. It was hitting before Mando 2.
Well, that was also
ready too early. It's too cart before the horse.
Yeah. Well, they wanted to avoid spoilers and stuff too on that. That was one reason they kept it.
Yeah, but
you can avoid spoilers, but you can have things on the shelves within a month or two. You know what I mean? Like
they were slow.
They lost a lot of money on that situation too.
Having her lightsaber out right now, like, I don't know if anybody cares that much about it, because apart from the fact that you poorly executed whatever the hell her story is, because I still don't understand her motivations from the story. And yes, you guys we can argue over that again. I still don't understand her motivations. So until I get those, I'm not a huge fan of the character, but I don't think she did the actress didn't do a poor job.
Oh, she didn't do
and
a
I'm
poor
interested
job.
in the
It's
character.
the writing, the way her direction
was just not handled very well with how they executed the story. That's all.
But
and I think Hasbro has. I mean, they got their own problems with HasLab stuff.
Yeah,
so.
Exactly.
HasLab needs to clean house. That's Star Wars.
They need to change their approach and really dive into what fans want to. That's the whole thing.
You can't take back-to-back L's like this, dude. That one over there, I didn't remember what it was, but it had 8 days left. I think they're like 20% funded, 15% funded. There's no way.
No.
I think it because at least I'm getting it, but that doesn't make them right with their decisions. You guys are right. I should demand more. That's what I'm saying. Like, I'm not disappointed. Like I like to pick out the stuff I like, and not everything's for me, and I get that. But then, like, the problem is the stuff that is supposed to be for us, and this is where I have a problem with it. Like, you could say, "Oh, it's younger writers writing it, Pete, and they don't know." Then don't have them do it. Don't have them do it.
I think
that's what I'm trying to say. They don't.
But part of the problem is you said us. Like, you can't always have that approach. They got to market it for more than just us.
Yeah,
they got to market it towards everybody. Otherwise, they're not going to make any money.
They're looking for new viewers because
they need a legacy of Star Wars fans, not just
they already have us.
Guys.
It doesn't matter what they do.
This is what I'm saying.
We're going to watch it. They've already got us. Dom's not going to stop buying Star Wars stuff. He's caught. We're all caught. We're already in this. It doesn't matter. They really have to completely derail this train for us to stop.
This is the perfect example. What he's
collecting.
I get it, but this is what I'm saying.
They're
is
looking
like
for new, not us.
With the I know, but with the High Republic, I think it pulled in new people and it pulled in a lot of us.
I don't know that it pulled in a lot of older fans, though. I mean, it did us, but I think it. But I don't know that it did in general.
Let me ask you guys something. When you first started reading Old Republic stuff, did it pull you in right away? When you first started reading it?
So anything that goes out
weird.
It's going to take a little
It's weird to compare that. It's because that was a different era of Star Wars. I mean, you look at. To be fair, the EU or Legends was the wild freaking West.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, it really was. There was everything out there, and you could have latched on to anything you liked. I latched on to Old Republic stuff pretty easily because obviously video games, and that's actually where I got introduced to Star Wars.
They weren't telling that. They weren't telling. Yeah.
I don't know. I think we've gone on
for too long.
Long enough for this evening. We're over 3 hours, you guys. I was gonna pop in for like a half an hour. Like, I made it home.
Let's say hi.
8 hours later.
All right, take us out of here. Hey guys, thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you guys all for stopping by. We'll still have a tax show continuing our Action Hero tier list on Wednesday. We'll be back with more Star Wars content on Sunday. I think we'll still be without Jedi, I think, for one more week. I think that's what he said, but we will be back, and I will be back. So if you guys didn't like Marco's graphics, I will try to make them look prettier next time.
I don't even know what you're going to do with that shit.
I don't know, but I'll fix the thumbnail. I will fix the thumbnail.
That's a great
Once
thumbnail.
I come to terms with what the hell did we talk about today? Because there's a good chance I might put something silly like refrigerators or something.
Thank you, everybody. Joe, good to see you. Stay healthy, buddy. Praying for you. Lose P, good. AOA, get it. See y'all later.
With that.
Yeah.
Later, guys.
Bye.